complete fantasy, because Dewey can whistle. Oh my good god, yeah, definitely. Oh my god, that is a story. I've never seen anyone score so low in my life. Actually nothing. Zero. And I don't know. It was like stuck in the thing at the back. Like, how do you get it up there? Yeah. Way, like 20 foot way off up high. So bad. That is interesting. So, yeah, if you guys can, if I'm the only one that anyone can hear on the stream, hi Ellie. Yeah, so I haven't been here for the last 2 weeks. The person who was here last was Phil, and I haven't changed anything. So if, yeah, yeah, there he goes. So yeah, I'm going to try and fix that. I don't know how because the whole thing is so complicated. So if you have any idea, Phil, please let me know. um, yeah. Shall we go? It might know, yeah. Let's go to a quick break and I will fix it. Because I can't, like, talk to y'all and fix it at the same time. Yeah, all hail the pre-show. Yeah, I can't do that and fix it unless I not fix it, which is fine. Okay, we'll be back in like 2 minutes. Okay, bye.
Standing on the top of the hilltop, and we will mock viciously, capriciously. We're tired of assault and the bigotry. You seem so full of wit and chivalry, but when we viciously, through music we captivate, through songs and words we propagate.
Hi everybody. I know you can't. You still can't hear everyone, but I can't actually fix it until I was live. So, let me try and fix it now. Wow.
Constructing material now, so it's just such an oh, I can.
Yeah, it's completely different, Phil. I don't know what the hell you've done. This is coming out of my speakers now. I don't know what's happening.
It's gone. Nope, I'm back.
What?
I gone? Nope. I think. Can you hear me?
I think it should be okay now.
Yay.
Can you hear all of us?
Hello from the other side.
Hello from the other side.
Oh, thank God.
We got a thumbs up. Yay.
Cool, good.
Yay, I get to live.
I don't know, because it's taken me so long to fix this stuff, and like, it's not marrying up. Anyway, that was a good natural one at the start of this.
And yeah, it wouldn't
Anyway.
be Fumble Folks if it wasn't.
That's what we
Fixing
do.
it.
If you're new to Fumble Folks, that's what we do.
Yeah. Do you guys want to do your like quick character intros?
Let's do them. Let's see how quickly we can do them
Yeah.
as well.
Do them
Ready?
really super quick.
Speed round. Speed dating. Okay. Introduce yourself. Brit.
I'm not doing it. They heard me.
Fair enough. That's true. You should know that I'm Ben's not here this evening. I believe just we're piloting him for shenanigans. Maybe me. We'll see how it goes. Dorit.
Human, blood hunter, fighter. People hate me.
Cool. Seth.
Noble.
Baxter's,
I'm rich. I'm very rich. Wink.
Baxter's also human. Was also once the only human. It's great. Best character ever. Done.
Wow.
Nice.
Not
Go.
even a class. Just I'm the best.
I'm Dewey. I'm part halfling, part dew elf, ranger, scout. It has a host of birds at his command, and is friends with.
Cool. We did it.
I feel like
Good.
intro should always be like this.
No.
Speed run our intros every
Breeze
time.
be normal, and everyone else
Bree
be
be
super
normal.
fast.
No, because Brie has to start, which means she's not going to know until we start doing it.
That's like how it needs to be normal.
It's going to come in. Hi, Sam, Rapid Riders, Fumble Folks.
Boom. Let's go. Anyway, we're
This
in a...
is the Rapid Riders on Fumble Folks, one of our long-form campaigns here, and we rejoin our party in the ruins of the Towers, formerly the Towers of the Winding Paths, the premier institution for magical learning in Cologneonmybutthole, and indeed on the southern half of the continent of Osasris. But 50 years ago, tragedy struck as a massacre from the then Kingdom of Cologneonmybutthole took place, starting those very first wars. The party are here in search of many things, magical knowledge, magical advantages, items, as well as information regarding Diana's mother and what can be done to cover them from wherever they are. And that has led our party to a temple library dedicated to the goddess of knowledge, which we spent last episode collecting many, many books and asking the university's programmed illusory, programmed illusion resembling intelligence, also known as Piri.
Hey, Piri.
Many questions, hello, about anything they could recall. You realise that some information, Piri is not entirely functional. Some things that just don't seem to be there. Some information is not present because Piri can be banished from witnessing things from an area for a specified amount of time. But as you are still fact-finding here, you are, coming to a point. I believe you had a long rest, or about to have a long rest. Built a big book fort for yourself.
Yeah,
Yes.
Dewey made a book fort for everyone.
Yes.
Yes.
Um,
Didn't I roll like a ludicrous, like survival check or something for that?
it's like a stealth, wasn't it? We turned
Yes, that
around
was
and
it,
you'd made these book forts. And then me and Garrick were about to argue, and then we didn't. We went to sleep.
Yes, because you involuntarily read Garrick's mind to learn more about their
I did.
history at the towers.
I did. He's mad at me.
He's not best pleased, no.
Oh well. It's all for the greater good.
Great, okay.
Thank you.
I leave it to you. You're still in this tower. Dawn, as it is, awakes, although this deep in the library, really no way to tell. But certainly you've completed a long rest. Noted.
We complete the long rest, yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna roll my dice, and I'm rolling a brand new dice.
Ooh.
The witchy
So
dice.
pretty. So pretty.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Do you want to know what they are, or is it a
The
surprise?
portents?
Yeah.
You can surprise me with those portents.
Ooh.
At some point throughout the night, Halbert would take the dragon chess set from.
Oh.
And
You lost Doran?
Oh, you
No,
went
who's
away for
that?
a minute.
You're
Yeah,
going to
that.
take the dragon chess set.
yeah,
That's what we've got.
I was gonna take the dragon chess set from Dagwin,
Oh, okay.
and throughout the night I'll be playing with myself. At least that's what it would look like visually outside. Where's the dragon chess set, Sam?
Yeah. The rest of the party sees
Him playing with himself?
how the player, or at least it looks like that's what he's doing. Is he's playing with himself.
You can huff all you want, but my
Words
God.
came out of your mouth. How does it feel to be in a clip? Hi guys.
How does it feel to be in a clip? Not very good. Not very good.
Aww.
I'll
Doesn't feel
clip
good.
it.
Don't feel good.
Cool. Does Garrick want to talk some more, or is he still mad at me?
I think he was not very talkative over the course of the night, saying just get some sleep. But yeah, he seems to have calmed down a bit.
Alright,
Certainly not
cool.
slept it off. But
I'm like, hey.
hey, I think we should get started. What's this accent doing now? We should get started on reading some of these because we're not going to be able to read them all in a very short amount of time.
I'm getting a vibe.
Yeah. Look, just if you'd asked, I'd have probably said yes.
I know, but it was like a split-second decision.
Split second, we're in a library just looking for books.
Bree can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it's a split-second decision. Like they were like something was
I
happening.
mean, there was no urgency. There was
Oh.
zero urgency.
I think they
We were in the library.
No,
Just
I think everyone else is wrong.
No, it wasn't it outside the doors of the tower.
No, that was different.
No.
Yeah, that was urgent. Okay. All right. I know. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Like, it could have been a split-second decision, but there was no urgency to that.
I'm going to ask Bree to go into Diana's mind for me. When they say, I'm sorry, my way, do they really know, yep, that was wrong? Or are they thinking he's making a little bit more of this mission?
Say again.
Is Diana essentially, do you think Diana is earnestly apologetic?
About reading his mind.
About reading his thoughts?
No.
Okay. He looks into your eyes, nods his head.
Yes and no.
And he's going, okay, apology accepted. I can start on some of these, and I'm going to probably start with, I don't know.
Is that sincere?
Hmm?
Is that sincere? Is that
Oh, make an insight check.
natural 20?
He does not believe your apology, but he doesn't want the fight.
Oh God. Okay. Okay. If you're sure, then we can read the books. Just so you know, I am sorry about the way it went down. We had some good information, and I'm really sorry I used you that way. Genuine.
He is going to make another check. Looking into your eyes. Okay. Sorry means next time. Yeah. No? I love
Deal. I love you. I stick
Right.
out my hand to shake.
you. He takes your hand, pulls you in.
I was
not a kiss.
gonna
but
do the
a,
same.
you do it
And then
together.
we knock heads, and then both
Knock
are
heads.
completely
Oh,
out cold for the next 4 hours.
Not quite. But certainly, it's a very quick embracing to a hug as you both are in tune enough to know what it was about to do.
Cool. Also, I think we should start with a celestial book.
Not a bad idea.
Okay.
So you found the book written in Celestial and also
A beginner's
some
guide
celestial-
to celestial. So I'm
Yes.
translating celestial texts or some shit like that.
like Ferris. You make me, because this is you going, this word means this word means this, and like piecing it together like that. Make me I think it's gonna be investigation, because that is intelligence plus piecing things together quickly, being able to reference through books quickly. That makes sense to me. Garrick is giving you the help action on this, which
cool.
means because he is a sidekick, you get plus D6 to it as well.
Oh, cool. Not advantage, just a d6, yeah?
Advantage and a D6.
Oh, okay.
His helping is very good.
That's 13. Oh, cool. That is that's a 20, and then a 6. That's a 2. It's 22.
22. Awesome. You begin to piece stuff on 22. It's a thick old book. It's very deeply written in religious contexts, which you sort of struggle to initially piece together, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is what it's saying. So it's not just translating celestial into common, it's translating not quite legalese so much as religious-ese into sort of what they're actually saying. But you begin
The
to
old
read
common.
the old common, like purposefully talking about something in a very esoterical way, literally to be understood by fewer people. You read The Zealot's Heresy and Implications. This was the oldest book, one of the books on the outside of the recent return section that seemed to have the least dust on it, as though it had not been quite 50 years worth of dust. You read that the Zealot's Heresy is a theological theory, still in the time where gods, the old gods were worshipped normal around here. There was no Osnan. He wasn't even king yet, let alone emperor, let alone a false god. But the Zealot's Heresy took the idea that multiple accounts had been collected of clerics and paladins, worshippers of this sort of divine, or wielders of this divine power that seemed to be able to use that power through belief alone and didn't have to prescribe it to worship of a particular god. A lot of references made to paladins worshipping the land they come from, just belief in an ideal. Same thing for clerics, belief in an ideal, belief that something should be a way so strong enough. That they don't. Some of them either were worshippers of a god and then essentially forsook them and still were able to wield that kind of power. It seems to have come from a belief in the ideal. They have then said that this is fact. This is not the Zealot's Heresy. The Zealot's Heresy comes from a bishop of this faith from somewhere in the north. It's like naming a specific town. You think if you lived in the northern lands, you might know. That gave the argument that if the relationship between belief and power is so strong that it can instill power in the worshipper of just an ideal, could then one gain the same power as a god from fervent belief and worship of an idol, of somebody who was not a god themselves. And are the gods, and though we know the gods are powerful and the gods are strong, and we have seen their action and hear their words, could somebody be worshipped so fervently that they themselves begin to gain power, or even would their own belief that they are a god allow them to wield the same divine power? Not to the point of not just lying to others to worship them, lying to themselves at the very core that they were in fact a god and therefore could wield those powers. This is a heresy. This is written here as a absolute no. If you believe this, you preach this, you are kicked out of the church, you are excommunicated. Nobody likes this. The implications thereafter, going into more detail of if someone were to create a cult of people who believed they were a god and were mad enough to believe themselves a god, would they begin to take on aspects or powers of the gods themselves? The very nature of a god, because the gods have been so absent, so removed from the world, apart from the actions of their followers, is this something that would be possible? And the idea that it might be possible is written here in very fearful tones of, is it even worth discussing? Because if it were possible, what would be the point of that? And if we thought it were possible and we were to even preach this outside of this theological high debate discussion, could some layman pick it up and go, oh, I'm going to try and do this, and really hurt some people by converting them and making them think he's a god? It's a long theological debate after that about sort of, would it be worth trying to disprove it? Could we find somebody mad enough to think they're a god and see if this would work? And a lot of people say that's deeply inhumane, also a deep heresy against every god.
I know a guy.
You know a guy.
I know a guy.
He's tried this. You don't know. Certainly his clerics and paladins receive spell slots, but you can see that there is a clear precedent of belief in something so much that you still draw on that divine power, and that seems to be tied to belief and faith and unwavering conviction. But the idea of the zealot's heresy, that if that figure, that idol, were to believe themselves a god in the same way, would belief in oneself as being the divine power give oneself that divine power? And how would having all of these people worshipping you strengthen and or alter that? It's written here as this is a debate based on the fact that we know you can give yourself divine power based on belief and conviction in an ideal alone. Could you convert that to being an idol, a person? Could somebody wield the power of a god because everybody believes they are? It's very much like a... There's no proof it would work. This is a speculation. And it is a heresy to even say, yeah, you can be a god by believing it real hard. No, you can't. The gods are a different race. They are a different thing from us entirely. They are begotten with this power. To believe that you just have to want it real hard is absolute heresy. But here it is being even debated at this point.
But considering what's happened since this place was destroyed, an uncomfortable bit of reading, I imagine.
An uncomfortable bit of reading that you imagine somebody has attempted to put into practice.
Okay, so I can kind of maybe find out who that is. Maybe.
You no wrong necessary when you're thinking of who has tried to make their name a god.
Yeah, no, but who read the book last?
That is with that investigation check, you're sort of looking for, did somebody write their name on the front? Is there like a little library
I
stuff?
could
A
do
little
the thing.
slip of paper at the front,
Little
right? They should have the names on it.
out.
I could do the
Um,
thing if you are like okay with that.
New spells.
Not new spell, but new ability. Oh no.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Yeah.
Is it
You
bad?
can use your
Is
psychometry.
it really bad though? Is it like all of the secrets? I feel bad.
It's not
As a DM.
all of the secrets, but it's certainly.
We wrote it in. Those secrets are for the DM to.
You just give me a quick hot minute. 'Cause
Yeah,
I need
go
to.
for it. You do that, and then I'll be like, oh, I don't know what everyone else is doing.
What is it you're doing for people watching that don't know what you're doing?
Well, I was gonna carry on with the roleplay.
Oh, okay.
But we'll do that. I'll do that in a minute. Yeah, I don't know what you guys are doing. What are you guys doing?
This is reading a good book.
A good book. How do you know it's a good book? Sorry.
This is a book.
'Cause it's
Any book is a good book.
Good
And we
point.
have like no books.
true. It's true. Are you reading the one that my mother wrote?
Maybe.
Please don't. Sorry, halibut.
Albert is continuing to play chess with himself while having a book open next to him.
What's
Looking
happening?
very thinking.
What's
very
happening
contemplating.
when it's not your turn?
Nothing.
Oh,
it looks
as
like
in
he's,
you're...
he's moving both sides by
Oh,
himself.
okay. So you're practicing like with yourself.
Yeah, or at least it looks like that. He's reading a book, flipping a page, and then thinking. And after like 10 minutes, he moves one piece.
Okay.
And then maybe picks it up and moves it somewhere else. And then moves
Wow.
an enemy piece.
Cool.
That's what he's doing.
I think Zeke is reading some smut.
I think Zeke is going through the entirety of level 60.
Yeah, so if anybody is like kind of like free, I don't know, you Halibut is busy.
Taxes will be free.
Yeah, taxes would be interested. Come over.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe Dewey.
Dewey's-
but I don't know.
Yeah, Bree. Didn't you? I haven't written it in my notes, but didn't Diana find Dewey a book about being a ranger or something?
Yes.
Along
Yeah,
those
the
lines.
kind of like the druidy, rangery type magic and stuff. But yeah, that.
So it was written by Bear Grylls, who is a druid who would only ever wild shape into a bear.
Actually, Grave Bear. But okay.
I was gonna
It
say
was
that,
The Art of Ranging, written by Weller Watt and Haydick Felter.
yeah. Well, who?
Weller Watt is a name you're not familiar with. I think Haydick Felter, you are. Yes, Haydick Felter, Piri has described as the Archdruid of the Towers.
Ah, yeah, there you go.
Collaboration, it seems, between a druid and an expert that is not actually employed by the tower to write this book, to sort of go into the details of, okay, we know it's similar to druidic magic in a lot of ways, but obviously it's much more focused on hunting. Do you want to have a read of that?
Yes.
Cool, give me an investigation check. Big book,
No.
lots going on here. Goes into details of spells to try and find the information you're looking for. Is
I think
a
that is
task.
what I rolled. That is 14. It's not
14.
bad, but it's not good either.
It takes you time. There's a lot of things of like, you can almost imagine a voice of Weller Watt in here. A really important thing to do is make sure you got yourself a good tech. And it like goes into a lot of detail of like actual survival, and it's like, these are the magic people, they care about magic, get on with it. And then it starts going into like the details of like how useful Hunter's Mark could be in many, many different things. Always have some healing with you. And then it goes sort of into the details of where this sort of you keep going through, and you're looking for sources of power, and eventually you find something that gets into that. It's like, well, some druids, similar to paladins, sort of draw on their need to protect something, the protection of nature, and there's almost a symbiotic relationship of protecting nature itself. That is sort of the basis of it. Some find that, and you're sort of going into a bit more here, you're seeing some find that the connection to nature extends further than the natural realm and perhaps into the what's referred to as the inner planes. You see that this now becomes the definitely now a writing of Haydick. These are books that are, there's no printing press, these are written. You can see the change. They go into detail on that role. They go into detail of how some rangers are either born with or have some inherent connection to something referred to here as the plane of light, and how this plane is considered very natural, very good, but often quite chaotic. It's strong in nature, but in the same way you wouldn't want to let invasive species overwhelm a forest, you wouldn't want everything natural about this place, or considered supernaturally, like incredibly natural and magically natural in a very weird way, sort of overwhelming. So it's important to keep it separate, but often a lot of strength in these things, especially the denizens of these places are often considered either tricksters or protectors, never seen with extreme malice, except in the most, the word you'd probably use would be offended situation, as though you would have to harm them first to invite that malice in, if that makes sense. But certainly rangers who have formed some kind of connection to this plane, either from some incident of birth, bloodline passed on, or even being gifted these powers from those who have had them before. I think the last thing you would know on that 11 is much knowledge on this is yet to be discovered and is closely guarded, perhaps for very good reason. The tribes of Fenrion are a good source to consult.
We will remember this. Actually, that's the tribes of Fenrion. Yeah,
The tribes of Fenrion.
And that would be something you would heard of, or do we need to be able to work out whether that means like whether it's connected to druids of?
You know that you are related to such tribes.
Yeah.
One half of your family. You know that your mother had a people. She was not out there on her own. A lot of them came in together with your mother when they were eventually indentured.
Rounded up. Yeah. Okay. Cool. He's kind of interested, but there's no pictures, so.
Toodles. Doran. What to do?
Yeah.
Right, carry on.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was gonna say Doran, or I have something written down now for.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to begin reading of the magic book I borrowed from Diana. That I was told that I would have something about blood magic, blood hunters.
Sanguis Magicae.
Sam,
It's
you
like,
works.
oh, Sam's
gave
not
it!
wait.
I've transferred my cursor on.
You have. This happened like before as well, didn't it?
It's happened to me, yeah.
Yeah. I
It's
don't know
happened to
why.
Seb before as well, didn't it?
Has it?
Maybe.
Oh, they're gone. It's not just a Sam. Every time it's passed to a new user, it goes even stronger.
Don't.
Internet just gone down.
Oh, the full
Oh.
internet is gone.
It's not Sam's curse.
It's not my curse. My cat is nowhere to be seen. He may be somewhere with a pair of wire cutters right now.
It escaped and hurtled to Ely very, very quickly.
Yeah, let's everybody just check the news for Ely, just make sure.
Sam, you're supposed to bring balance to the Force, not destroy it.
You're a chosen one!
The robot. It delights me. I made a devil's deal and passed the bargain on to someone else. Well, as we are waiting for Seb's internet to return, yes, the Sanguis Magicae looks like a very, very dense text. You can make an investigation check if you would like to try and look for references to blood magic.
Good, do I not have it? Does this involve my eyes? Or lack of one?
You are used, and long distances are bad for you. Up close reading, you're not gonna. You can see the entire book with one eye. No part of your vision is cut off of the book, so no, I'm not going to give you disadvantage.
Okay.
to read this book.
If you have perfect, if you have
14.
perfect vision with one eye, is that 20/20 or is it just 20 vision?
What did you get?
40 vision? 40 vision? 14.
14. You indeed find there's a lot of information here on sorcery, as largely an inherited or acquired power. You sort of have to skip through as much as you can. Nearer the back, you see there's more information on both blood. Those people referred to as blood hunters and blood witches here.
Smart.
You looking at it, focusing on blood hunting, it seems to be, for the most part, a purposely acquired skill, although you cannot recall ever purposely trying to have this power, if that makes sense. You barely know what a blood hunter is, less than you.
Well, I didn't know the term was blood hunting until now.
No, exactly. You leaf through here on your investigation check. You are fairly confident that your connection to your brother isn't as a direct result of this blood. That seems to be something else. It's just not referenced here. What you can see is that there is a lot of emphasis on mutations, imbibements, and blood rituals. So, for example, the drinking of blood that has been altered or alchemically altered in some way. You can make me a history check based off of that discovery.
Does it have anything involvement to do about feeds? Undead?
This is you remembering.
Okay, it's just a memory check. Cool.
This is more memory check than anything else.
That's an 18.
You can, and you're thinking of like ritual imbibements of drinking. You don't, as far as you can remember, didn't drink any blood. But there was that time that your family, it was and I believe I'm correct in saying here, Sam, as a TM, your brother's passing, there was a chalice passed around. You, in your grief, really couldn't remember what, or remember asking anybody what was in there. In fact, if you try and think back, you don't think anybody told you or you even asked. It was just part of your family's ritual. You're sort of looking at some of the things in here. Based on that role, the investigation wasn't great. I think that's all you get for now, based on the roles that you got there, is that maybe that's where things started.
Hmm.
And certainly, as you're trying to match in your head, how long have I sort of been experiencing these? You start thinking a bit like a doctor, much as you are. How long have I been experiencing these symptoms? When did they start? And with this information was it from here? And you're like, actually, it might have started around there.
Yeah. Could I somehow elevate one of these roles with a medicine check?
I think for now, that is where you get to with your reading. If the status quo changes, that's all sort of, we can roll again and have another look. But sort of, this is the extent of your reading. Like, it took you time to find the thing, took you time to get down there. If we spend the entire day in here again, certainly might get another chance to read it back, if that makes sense. But I'll say on this check, we have a Seb back, I think. Sideways Seb!
Fuck's sake.
Sideways Seb.
I hate technology right now. Honestly. Might
There we are.
go.
For
Welcome
Fumble
back.
folks.
That's okay. We just
Fumble
revealed all of
folks.
Halibut's backstory, start to finish.
Yeah,
It's
but we're not going
fine.
to repeat it, so.
Something, something, blood, something, something.
Something, blood, something. Basically, if it comes back around to you, everybody's had a chance to do some research. That could be sort of next thing can be diving deeper into this, if that makes sense.
Awesome.
Cool.
Can I do one thing as because Halibut's gonna get up and walk away for a second. Halibut's gonna get up and go in further into the library. That's what you. That's what.
Cool. People notice you walking in.
He's not doing it stealthily.
No, assume you're headed to somewhere with purpose.
Dag would accompany me, please.
Yeah,
You're not busy?
No, I mean, I've just fully not gonna read these. Dag wouldn't go in with you. Cool. I think unless Seb has a particular, I know what book I want to read.
I've just been a random.
General reading of random books.
We
Let's.
have loads on the table.
There are loads.
I think
of
it's
books.
gone again. Oh no.
Or has Seb started reading every book in the library and started at a first book?
A first book.
A
So
level
first book of
one.
an A
and then
category.
Cool.
a million
An
years
Adventure
later.
Abroad by Aaron Aarons.
Yeah.
First book. Author is a.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna struggle with this because it's really bad. I'm sorry, it's cutting in so much.
Sorry.
Bree, as
Yeah.
Diana
So
touches, explain,
I'll beckon like taxes over and whoever might be interested. It might just be me, Garrick, and taxes. I don't know.
Halibut would be interested in doing some.
He has his own baggage. He has to deal with that. But yeah, I'll just be like, this is like, possibly how do we know that like the clerics shouldn't be getting like the power off of Osnan, because as far as we were aware, he's not a proper god.
You can see like the beginning of like the foundation for what the Zealot's heresy tries to discuss is the known fact and the established fact that belief in an ideal alone can grant people this kind of power. So you've been working on the assumption that all the clerics of Osnan are just so of such unshakable faith that has been enough to grant them power.
Okay.
I don't believe any of you have met an individual who's been able to do these things without a god.
Yeah.
But it's...
You know that cleric that we beat up like really quickly?
Yeah.
And the sad cut and the happy cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one you fucking butchered? Yes. The
Yes,
one that you have the fucking lantern from, yeah.
Yes, racist lantern. Yes, their previous owner, they were a priestess of Osnumber. So that was the kind of person where you're like, oh, this seems to be that this person just believes so much that that was enough to power these spells, to give them this spark of the divine. Belief enough did it. Which is scary in its own way, because you can believe in some pretty horrible shit, and as long as you believe in it hard enough,
Yeah.
it seems to
like
work.
I do believe in fairies, and they'll come true.
But you could have someone who is believing very delusional things and may well still be able to summon power from that as long as they believed it strongly enough.
Don't like that. I'll explain that to taxes, wherever you just said. And I was like, I think I can do a thing that I have maybe been able to do recently.
What is this thing?
Well, this thing is called... it's called psychometry. Dana doesn't know what it is. I touch it and then I see things.
Can you read the wording of it, because that's important.
Yeah. So you can ascertain the history of an object just by touching it. You could learn how the object was created, any meaningful experiences it may have had, about a person who owned it, or experiences a person had while in the possession of that object. The impressions you get from an object can be perceived as images, sounds, smells, tastes, or emotions. The type of impressions and the information you receive are determined by the GM. You can do this a number of times equal to half your proficiency bonus, rounded down per long rest. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. You establish that with your party.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna touch it.
Okay.
And I want to know the last moment. Well, the last.
Before we went back on this bookshelf.
Yeah.
Okay. Your
Yeah,
watch.
because the last person who technically touched you was Halibut, giving it to you.
Yeah, no, I don't want that one.
You all watch as it takes you time. This is the first time canonically that you've had to focus and do it, knowing this is what's going to happen going in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It takes some focus. You feel that part of yourself, and you watch as Diana's head snaps back very quickly. Eyes go roll back in the head. Diana, you are in the library again, and you have no idea what level you are on here. As you hear voices sort of mumbled in the distance, similar to how you've heard mumbling on different levels, as you see somebody being pushed through. You know, the fog sort of takes over and you can't see between the layers after, I think it's like 20 feet or something like that we said. Like 2 layers down, 2 layers up. And you see a younger man, looks like a human in his, maybe his 20s, probably not quite his 30s. Doesn't look great. He looks like he's in rags. There are many scars along his arms where it looks like manacles or bindings may have been. And you see he like stumbles forward and sort of hits one of the bookshelves as he is pushed hard. And stepping behind them, you can see look very much like Empire soldiers, not just Cologneon's Empire soldiers. Actually, that's wrong. That's wrong. You would see they look like that or similar to that because the brass plating that forms part of the natural decoration of armor is beginning to have this patina pattern, but it doesn't look like it's fully taken over. It looks like, compared to the Empire soldier before, there's this Knight of Hatred. They have seen more battle. The gear has seen more wear and tear. You don't know exactly when you are, but this is not the massacre. That's not where you are right now.
There's a lot after that.
Seems to have been after that. As this younger man is pushed heavily, and you see multiple, maybe 5 or 6 of these soldiers walk following on. They say, "Take as many as we can. Remember, we're guests here. Be polite." And this very scared-looking, ragged man is like, "Hey, Piri." And you see Piri appear in the area. And it's like, religious texts on this level, that sort of thing, right? It's like, yes, all of this information can be gathered here. Okay, I'm gonna check out some books, Piri. I'm gonna check out some books. You see a sort of flash in this space, bright white light, and then when you come back, you are on a cart with you can feel the presence of a book that you are in real life holding in your hand amongst many others. Maybe 20 or 30 of these books bound in twine with these soldiers. They look rough, and there are maybe 2 of them. They have big cuts and scrapes along their face that's still healing. You see the bound person that is once again in bindings, which already look to be hurting and forming new welts on their arms. You feel the cart come to a stop, and you watch as the knights roughly take, one of them roughly takes this young man, the other takes the piles of books, and you begin walking forward. You see that you are up high, looking over a city, and from this position, you feel the. Initially, you think it's gravel crunching beneath your feet, but then it looks like ash. A mixture of rubble and ash as you are walking towards a building site with many workers very rapidly trying to construct a building of some kind. To your left, you can see what looks more like a sort of castle. The thing in front of you looks more like a maybe some kind of chapel based on sort of foundations of it. You are brought, or the the shackled man, is brought into a tent here, and you see a face that you have seen before. You see Alexis Tremanus, the Hierophant Imperium.
In shackles.
No, she is not in shackles. She is just stood there. She looks towards the shackled man and says, "You have nothing to fear. Take off his shackles. We are all free here." The soldiers do as they're told. Wizardry is outlawed in this country now. And when you were taken, there was hopes that you could be of more service to your country alive. I believe you may do that. This war is going well, but there are texts and information in the abomination of nature where you were studying. I am hoping we have them here now. Your family are now safe. Clergy of Zegda will forgive them their trespasses. You know Zegda is one of the old gods, which Alexa seems to be referencing here. In return, you will help me read through these. You see this individual taken to chambers where it's like rapidly, you see day, night shift as they are poring over these tomes and reading. And you see Alexis Tyrannis taking the book as you like your vision is taken away from the shackled man to her as she's reading through this. You watch as she makes a perfect copy in common, and then closes the book and leans back. I wish for an audience with our king. I think I have something I should tell him. She's pointing to the shackled man who is in the corner. You can see his arms have healed a bit better now. He hasn't been shackled in a while. It's like, assisted us greatly. We think it's time to re-explore, learn what sacred knowledge may still be recovered from your previous place of horrent learning. There will be a new retinue of guard. They will go with you. And you still will do great work in Zegda's honor and for the glory of Cologneonmybutthole. Again, carts travel, and this time you watch as the best way to describe it would be you see more of the logistics thing here. You see you're back in the towers. You see the knights are once again surrounding the shackled man. He has shackles back on. He is screaming at them and said, "You promised me! You promised me!" And the knight turns around and stabs him through the chest and says, "I make no promises to sinners." And you see the eyes light up with that flame that you saw one of the Knights of Hatred do in your previous vision. As that happens, you see Piri appears and goes, "You've killed one of our students." The next thing you see is the book being placed back into the shelf.
Who did that? Place it back.
You're trying to perceive that as you begin to recede from the vision.
Ugh. Can I do the thing again? Or is that too much?
You can make a charisma check, yeah?
Straight charisma.
Drink charisma. I believe was what we did last time.
Yeah, 11.
11. You think you were just about to catch, but it is a very withered hand just before you pulled back.
Ah.
And we have raiders. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Oh god.
Hello. So, for bits and pieces that may have got lost in the translation of me trying to make that dramatic, seems to be a previous occupant.
Shall I read my
Yeah.
notes to see if
you
I
read
got
out,
it right?
yes. Yeah.
It's very disjointed.
So is a vision. They're difficult to interpret.
Yeah.
Being
So
a witch
am
is
I.
not easy.
Cool. So, the way I interpreted it, yeah. So a former student was captured and then told that he would be able to work for the Empire if he complied. His family was all safe and stuff. He got a bunch of religious texts, and then they went back to Alexis Tremanis. She made a copy of it in common, and then was gonna show Osnan to presumably try and do this thing that they've just read. They were somewhere. I assume they are somewhere near Vinin, overlooking Vinin. Do we know of a church or chapel that, like I assume it's a grand-ish chapel to Osnan, specifically the first one to Osnan?
Make a history check. Make a history check for that, and some of the details in there that I will clarify, if that makes
Cool.
sense.
It's either Osmium or Zigda.
Zegda, yeah. Okay, so the history wasn't that good. Oh no, I got a 7 in that. This is 11 again. Hi, baby.
11.
11.
The clarification of, obviously we're referring to Empire a lot. At this point, it seems Clovia is still a kingdom. If you had to guess,
So they are king soldiers. King soldiers? What do you
the
call
king
them?
soldiers, Clovia soldiers, but certainly of Osmond's time, they referenced a war and they referenced being in it. The war was not over. This is during the First Colovian War with Fenrion and Halcyon.
There's ash on the floor still, so it's quite
There's
recent.
ash on the floor. You don't know if that ash ever went away or just seemed to form part of the general rubble. On an 11, I think 11 is enough to know that they built a castle and a temple, a cathedral, on the ruins of the previous castle that were destroyed in the meteorite swarm. It is a plinth of leveled land, of this sort of meteorite leveled land, known as the Ruined Rise. Still the highest point in the city. In fact, it's much higher now because there's loads of meteorite rubble there. Literally, the old castle and the old Colovia is buried under the new Colovia.
Yeah.
And there seemed to be mid-construction, still during a war, still before Osnan declared themselves a god at the end of a war. So what they were building there beyond just a temple, probably just a temple to the gods, and then during the process of it being finally built and finalized, was changed. No, this isn't going to be to the old gods, this is going to be to me.
Yeah. So I assume after reading this book, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, no, let's change everybody's religion. Get everyone to
Do you
believe
think this
him
can
as
work?
that. Yeah.
Only one way to find out, and if I do it, I will have the power of a god.
Yeah. Cool.
And then seems to send this individual back in, whether to truly collect more information or send them into their deaths.
Yeah, I wonder why he
Probably
went
wouldn't
back.
have gone all the way back in there if they weren't realistically, no, let's try and get more information. There is magic in here, and we don't want that. We want to collect these religious texts because a lot of religious lore, a lot of important religious stuff was lost here.
Yeah.
This is a temple library, so they genuinely were trying to collect. You think they were genuinely trying to collect religious texts out of this place, or grasping for power even before they were an empire.
I missed one thing though. I think I put it down wrong. So when they went back, you said they're back on like the grounds rather than the library. Were they in the library when he was stabbed?
It looks like they hadn't made it to the library yet, so the book fell somewhere out the library.
Okay.
They were genuinely going to return it because that Piri, they probably checked out all the books they were allowed to, and if they didn't return those, they made copies, so they didn't need to have them anymore, and Piri probably wouldn't have let them take more out if they didn't return those ones. That was the reason it had to come back. Otherwise, they probably would have just ransacked the place.
Yeah, like we just did.
And then, well, we haven't left yet, though, that's the thing.
Good
and
idea,
then
though.
Piri promptly vaporized them.
Yeah, did we see the vaporization?
Yeah. You did not, but you saw them kill a student on the grounds of the school, and you know what happens to students.
Yeah.
Anyone who does that.
So we'll keep an eye out for a pile of ash somewhere next to a skeleton.
Yeah, wonder
you.
where that is.
Yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye out.
I know this one. Huh.
I know this guy.
Yeah. Okay, well in that case, hey Piri.
Hello. Hi.
Hello,
Hello,
what
good
happened
morning.
if Piri's somewhere else? Oh yeah, we found this out. So Piri disappears. And appears.
Only one
Piri
iteration of Piri can be present.
Yeah, I
at one
think
time.
Piri can be in several places at one time. Hi Piri, how are you?
I'm Piri.
Yes, but how do you feel?
Eager to help.
Good. Sorry, I personally ask AIs this all the time and I want to catch them out.
Same.
You have feelings. Okay. Also, if you're
Just
nice,
as
if you're nice to them now, might be nice to you when they take over the world. So.
just as a note, Sam, Piri was just with halberds.
Oh. Did I get?
Okay.
Halberds somewhere in the
Did
library.
I get the same one or did I get that one?
well, it gets teleported away. It's only one iteration of Piri.
Yeah. If you say "Hey Piri" again, then halfway through this conversation,
I thought you said there was more than one.
I think we established Piri can only be in one place at one time.
Oops.
We did.
That gets
we
confusing.
tested this.
You did test it.
this.
You did test it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Because you stood
That's
like far away
confusing.
from each other and
I
said
didn't
it.
know that, so I've caught.
That's fair enough. You didn't know that Piri was
Piri.
doing something else.
Exactly.
Cool. This book. Who was the person that checked it out last? The name, Sam.
The name of the student that last took out that book before yourselves was Alex Roberts.
A student, yeah.
Student, correct.
What kind of student?
Alex Roberts was on the wizards course. He was a aspiring transmuter.
Cool.
At least he is now.
Oh, yeah, pick one. Okay. How long can we take the books out? Can we check the books out for, like, outside of the library?
Books can be taken out of the library for the extent of a month before it's starting to incur charges.
What are the charges?
Charges largely involve repayments to the school. We recognize that not everybody has the same background, and so generally tasks meant to benefit the school whilst discouraging tardiness with returning books. things like maintaining the grounds or maintaining specifically the sporting areas or helping usher people during sporting areas.
Oh,
Sometimes janitorial duties, although we do allow for use of prestidigitation for these things.
that's good.
So like community.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I'm not there.
I know.
Yeah. Like like community service. Okay, cool.
You can't say, you owe us 50 gold now. Like, oh, I have come here from no money. I
Yeah.
don't have any money.
Oh, shouldn't have read that book for too long.
I
Oh,
lost it.
so the book was lost. You probably don't know. Do you know the book was lost outside of the library and it was brought back by somebody?
Trying to remember. I'm fairly sure we said she doesn't know where the book is when it's been checked out.
She can't track.
She
all
can't
books.
track books.
She
Once
knows where
they've
they're
been-
meant to be.
When they're in the library, she can track them. When they've been checked out of
Yeah.
the library, she's not able to track them anymore.
Only because they were there when it was on the floor. That's what I was thinking. So Alex Roberts was killed on the way to put the book back.
He hadn't returned it yet, so
Yeah.
by that logic, you're correct. Piri would not have known, even if it was on the school grounds, even though Alex Roberts had died, she would not have known the book was lying there to return it.
Do you know who brought it back to the library though? Who had it
I
last?
didn't.
Okay.
It was last checked out by Alex Roberts.
Okay. Is Alex Roberts still here?
Roberts is still a student of the school. He briefly went away for a period of a year or two, perhaps? No, not even that. It was fairly quick for war. Check our world's history here. Empire history.
Oh yeah, I don't know. 10 years was it? During...
First war?
10 years with the Eastern Ridge, so
10 years for Eastern Ridge, correct, but this was the first war with the Fenrir and Halcyon.
I'll see.
4 years. 4 years before the war was won, about 4 years, and then the year after, technically, Osasris declared himself a god. And yeah, so 4 years until Empire was formed since the massacre. So yeah, about a year they would say that Alex wasn't present and then returned with signs of being shackled in the interim.
He continued to stay ever since.
He is one of our many undead students.
Brilliant. I don't think you'll know that. What happens if I died here? Would I become an undead student? We've just been raided again. Hello.
Oh, hello. Let's see you all.
Hi
15.
everybody.
Hello, loads of you. Hello.
We are, as the title suggests, in an abandoned magical university. And I'm asking the AI some questions.
Piri.
Hey Piri.
Magical AI.
Yeah.
Think Janet from The Good Place is probably the best equivalent to Piri.
Okay.
Except clearly some malfunctions.
I don't watch that, but I should know.
Fair enough.
Hey Janet. Someone
Hey
said.
Janet.
Hi. Hi guys, I'm from Amsterdam. Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I was just asking if I'm a student. If I die on campus, do I become undead?
Not necessarily, but certainly with a necromantic storm It is quite a high possibility.
Oh, is that what it is? How do you stop?
I don't know. I think so.
How do you stop the storm?
The defenses in the necromantic storm were created by.
Oh my god, can I get this first? Probably not.
By Scipio Rex, the necromancer of the towers.
So, did all of the teachers have, like, defenses in the school?
And all of the staff members were asked to contribute to providing protections to the students of Magi who reside here. Some were more enthusiastic than others.
I guess that one was enthusiastic because there's a massive storm of undead stuff.
Disintegrate gun.
Scipio Rex seemed very keen to try out certain hypotheses.
I think he's right. Is he dead?
Scipio Rex is dead, I believe. Is now.
Cross
Confirmed.
him off the list.
He's either dead or not on campus.
Oh, I think you said not on campus, actually.
Oh yeah, just not on campus.
Not
We
on
don't know.
campus.
So it's either been killed here or killed elsewhere, canonically. Now, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not on campus. The only member of staff still on campus is Telvalvion and Dwylar.
Yeah. What was my mother's defense?
Your mother's defense was largely foresight and prediction of oncoming attacks. She was not present on campus at the time of the attack.
Like one job. Fucking hell, mother.
Yeah, but perhaps her not being there is why she didn't die.
Absolutely correct. But why? But why wasn't she there? She would have seen it.
Your mother was last on campus a few weeks before, I think,
weeks.
established.
Yeah, a few weeks, and then she just came back afterwards. Like,
she's not been back afterwards.
oh, okay. I need to read my notes. That's what I need to do.
Last time Piri was aware of your mother, she was in the Prime Tower, and then entered space where Piri had been banished from, and then Piri at least knew she was off campus.
The place where she was last seen, was there a teleportation circle in there?
There's a teleportation circle in the Prime Tower and in the halls of learning of the Conjuration Way.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. I think we should go to the Towers of Learning. Is that what you said?
Halls of Learning. The Tower of Halls of Learning, also known as the Tower of Learning. Again, most of the non-wizard students very upset about. There's also learning that happens outside of that tower. It's just the wizard learning that happens in that tower.
Okay. The Wizard Learning.
Technically, some warlock classes, I believe. Although none have been scheduled in the last 50 years.
No. Okay, we get that. Cool. Are there any students currently from here to the fuck, I forgot what the Towers of Learning, the Wizard's
Wizard
Towers
Learning.
There are
Learning
only students
Towers.
in the halls of learning.
Okay.
Currently, a great deal of students in the halls of learning. And Magi.
Oh, those two. Great. Okay. Cool.
You, as a quick reminder, books you still have the infusing items with magic, an account of the Pantheon, I believe you also have that as well. Modern Colovia, alterations upon undeath, a Curious Souls Almanac on witchcraft as well. I think you have.
Yeah, it's all either on the table or in the bag.
Sure.
We can keep them for a month. It's fine.
And a consultation. I've written down a consultation on ancient something, volume 21. Don't know what that is. Apparently, we have that as well. That's great.
Also the blacksmith's arms.
Oh yes, the Blacksmith's Arms, the intense book written by your mother. Magic of a different kind.
It was written by?
Yeah, did you not know that? It's written by Mama.
Written by
I thought
Farley
it was
Arrest.
just checked out.
No,
No,
it
it
was
was
not checked out. Written.
Oh no. That's so much worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. My
Especially
mum
knowing
wrote
who
a
your
smutty
dad
book.
were. Halibut, what have you gone off to do?
So after moving, we said the cloud appears like 2 in, right?
Yeah. Like 2 layers in, you can the sort of this fog barrier seems to form as haze. Where it's like seeing fog on the horizon, essentially, where you can no longer see that far.
Right. Hey, Perry.
Hello.
I'm looking for books about specific magical items. More specifically, the cloak of useful items. Do you have any books specifically about that? Or something like it?
The book that you have regarding infusing items with magic,
Yes.
does have some details on that.
That specific item?
That specific item, there is perhaps some writings on it within the transmutation primer. No, that would be in the conjuration primer. I'm not sure there are any copies left in the library of that. Perhaps there would be some in the halls of learning.
Very well. I'm also very interested in the architecture of this place. Do you have any books on how the towers were constructed?
Yes. And she takes you, or she would tell you about the layer, layer 2, regarding the history of the towers themselves, and maps of the towers, and the history of the towers.
But the actual construction itself.
That would be detailed in the history.
Okay.
So it would be as much as there would be about the construction of these towers and order and how it took place would be in that history book. Just a history of the towers.
And one more thing. Oh, they can't.
Oh, yeah. They are summoned away.
Well, they must need them. Back to planning. As I'm going to start reading the book about the history of the towers and how they were built and stuff.
Cool. Make an investigation check.
Dagwin, would you care to help me? I'm specifically looking for any defenses the towers they might have themselves to stop corrosion, breaking, stuff like that.
I mean,
Or magic negation. If you spot any of those words.
I will replace your other eye, just trying to look for that. You can have the advantage for help. Not the extra d6, because they are not an expert sidekick. But yes, you can absolutely help here.
That didn't help at all. That's an 8. Damn it! The other one was a 2.
You see some interesting stuff at the start about how there were... have written this history down somewhere, which is going to annoy me when I do eventually find everything I've written down and could have told you more about.
I'm sorry, I only rolled a 2 investigation. I'll read this book again when you found your information.
Did you roll 1 and a 2?
No, I rolled a 2 and a 6.
2 and a 6. Oh, yeah. You learn that the Prime Tower, the first tower, as it is also known, was the first one created here, around what's referred to as a naturally advantageous spot. You see that initially it looks like there was just a couple of wizards that formed that, and then as tensions grew and suspicions grew about wizards in general, they started offering more safe harbor and succor to less powerful wizards who could be taken down and killed. And then that sort of extended into students, and they were like, we need more room. And so they created the dormitory space, initially like small towers, and then kept having to extend up and up and up, which is sort of how you create this weird pattern there. And they were like, we have all these wizards and warlocks and witches here who do not know what they're doing with their magic. Let's stop them, first of all, destroying the place, and started teaching. And then eventually it became this idea of, we could really do something here. We have people keen to learn, who want to know more, and have made it to us, and have the gumption to have at least made it to us. We have learned a lot. It is fair that we pass it on, and that sort of began the tradition of creating the halls of learning, really making this a student-friendly space. And yeah, the story continues from there with mild minutiae of like a petition for a tavern, and those who are against it being vastly outweighed over the course of a day, and construction very quickly taking place, and a lot of bards, sort of people who were like, yeah, I'm a sorcerer, eventually admitting that they were bards and that kind of thing.
What?
Because that sort of teaching wasn't allowed there, and it was a lot of like, this is a safe haven for wizards and witches and warlocks that will be cut down, and bards kind of don't have the same reputation. Bards don't get killed for being a bard quite as much in Colovia. But they still, it became a place of learning for them too. You see like that's probably, I'm just too keen to tell you everything about this place. But
I will learn. I'll try again, Sam. I promise.
Yeah, you can ask for the book to be checked out by Diana. I think we've established you can have like 30 books out at once. That should be okay for now. That's what Alex Roberts was able to take out.
Oh,
so
good, cool.
But we didn't get a specific on how the towers were made. Just they were constructed in this time, but not like how specifically they were made. Were the bricks made out of magic? Did they conjure the bricks? Did they conjure the tower? Was it like a thing
they weren't huge fans of manual labor, so magic was definitely involved in the creation of the towers, start to finish.
Does it speak about the founders and who the founders were?
Here we go. Theatre into violence, powerful arcanine, offered safe haven. A group of powerful mages. In here, you would see that there were a couple of wizards. There was a witch here from the beginning, a sorcerer, and a warlock. So 2 wizards, a witch, a sorcerer, and a warlock. In the beginning, it was those 5. You're sort of trying to get to the juice of it, and on that, as you're sort of trying to take all the information at once, you know you could go back and read their names, but you don't really learn their names.
Okay.
Sam has not written their names.
Very fair. Not going much, Dagwin. You might be missing.
I'm just fully... What do you expect me to do, old man?
Very fair.
Shall we rejoin the others? I'm not... Even though we are in the live, surely they have to come to us. We are at level 2, so eventually I think they're going to come down here. Or we could walk all the way into them. It's up to you, of course.
I thought they were in floor 1.
I don't believe you'd gone back out to floor 1, because you took the Zealot's heresy with you, didn't you?
We're on the ground floor, are we?
Oh, have you gone back to the ground floor?
With all the tables and shit.
There are tables in between, but yeah, I guess most space would be in ground 1. So yeah, there would be.
Yeah.
Cool. That's fine.
Does your memory starting to play tricks on you, Dagwin? I didn't think you were that old.
I'm sorry, we just have spent so much time in this library, but I'm genuinely losing track of up and down.
This is very fair. It's very confusing. That's why I want to learn about the architecture.
Of course
he smiles to himself.
You're an old man. Of course you wanted to know about the architecture.
That's another. He says under
So
his breath, kind of.
Sam loves architecture and realizes what makes him seem old as hell. I made all these towers and I was referencing Gaudi and shit. Of course I know I love architecture.
But yes, let's rejoin the towers. Let's rejoin the towers. Let's rejoin our friends.
Yeah. Now who's losing their mind and they walk with you. Group reunited. Information.
Just as you're coming down, I'd be like, Halbert.
Yes.
Oh, hello. Do you want to go for a wander?
Does that wander involve zombified students, by chance?
Most likely.
Well, Dagon was getting bored.
No, you can't kill them.
Well, no, but we have to, if we encounter them, we have to stop them somehow, and killing them, there's more options than killing them, I assume, right?
Yeah.
It's just that, and I put my hand on Dagwin and kind of just push her a bit, and she's just rattling. Not the most quiet.
Oh.
I've got something. I got something that can help with that.
And I think they're more attracted to magic than sound.
But I'm not going to do it because of that. Yeah.
Because of that, then it's the opposite of what I wanted to happen.
Well, but here's the question: are they attracted to magic, or are they attracted to the spell casting itself? Because if they were attracted to magic, they would be attracted to our magical items in possession.
I think we should conduct an experiment. I'm in school now. Let's conduct an experiment.
If they were also actively seeking out magical spells, why not go for the magical storm on the shore or the tower itself? But they only started seeking your presence as soon as you cast the spell, not before. Why is that? Experiments must be quiet.
We should do an experiment.
Agree.
Let's go do an experiment. Everybody else, do you guys want to maybe go to the Towers of Learning? Halls of Learning.
I don't know whether "want to" is the right phrase, but...
What do you want to do?
Right.
It's a deep question.
He looks around at just all the books and he's like, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of library, but a magical ruin full of things that want to eat us.
Sounds way cooler, I know, right?
Sure.
No? Okay.
Sure. I mean, okay, we can do it. It just depends how many there are. Is Siri still there, or is Piri? Is Piri still there?
How dare you?
How dare you? This is an original idea, Phil.
All similarities are purely coincidental. Yeah, is Piri still there?
I assume someone has them nearby, otherwise they're very quick to summon if you wish them to.
Alright, fair enough. No.
I think they were kind of still around when unless...
You had just been talking to them, whether you have gone to rejoin the rest of the party and moved away, in which case they've been left where they were.
That's so sad.
I don't have any feelings.
That's so sad.
I do have feelings.
You could have feelings. How this AI is.
But yeah, there's like a lot of students to answer your question. From last time, I'm sure I have those notes. But yeah.
There are,
lots.
Including yourself, there are 533 students on campus, 113 magi, and one member of faculty.
Yay!
I have been thinking about quite extensively throughout tonight, this morning, on how to skirt around the problem. They seem... Hey, Piri,
Hello, Mike wasn't picking that up, sorry. Hello.
could you leave and stop monitoring this area for 1 hour?
Okay. Thank God.
They seem quite mindless in their pursuit of absorbing magic. I wanted to test their range, how far they could sense this magic, and if we knew it, we could exploit that into dragging them into an area that we could entrap them on.
Like herding them?
Essentially, yes.
Okay. I wouldn't want to be that. I wouldn't want to be that sheepdog. But I feel like we might have to end up being that.
Pretty much. I've also been thinking about how to get into the first tower, Faculty Tower. In my possession, I do have a way to obscure walls and physical barriers. You know of it, Diana, and he kind of like runs his hand along his cloak. And you remember he has a door and a window that he could place on a thing, and he could go through an area. But I don't know yet if that would actually work on the towers. I don't know how thick the walls are. I don't know if they have any magic protection, so forth. So we cannot. My wanting us to do this would be to turn off Piri for a time, so we can deal with the student problem without incurring Piri's wrath.
But that's the thing, though. Is I mean, like he would still. He seems to be constantly aware of how many students there are without seeing them.
Yes, but if they would all suddenly vanish, he wouldn't know who did it, or where they went, maybe.
How are we vanishing them?
Well, we would brutally, or humanely.
Humanely is probably the best thing to say. Dagwen is saying this.
I'm trying to pick my words just in case our friend is still here.
Dagwen says, "Hey, Perry," and nothing happens.
I wanted to kill. Well, I didn't want to. If necessary, kill to make sure this area is safe.
Just make a straight intelligence check, everyone, now.
20. Not natural.
Does someone have access to my calendar sheet? Because I can't access it.
Roll a d20, we'll see.
I can access the character sheet.
Oh, natural 20.
Oh my god.
There you are.
Just like that. 4,
Just
by the
like
way,
that.
everybody.
Oh.
4.
19.
19. As Dewey is thinking of like how you can but how could we herd them to one place kind of thing, and then we have to turn her off at the same time. As you realise Dagwin has just said, "Hey, Piri, nothing happened," you realise, and as you remember what happened with Thalia, Piri can't detect what's going on right here, right now, where you have banished her from. It was a defined area, and it was a certain allotment of time. But if you're talking about shutting Piri down, you may not even need to do that. You just may need to be in an area where you can specify this area and for how long.
Oh. But what happens when Piri comes back online and then...
Then you may need to do some quick talking and deception checks, or hide the body.
Yes, I naturally thought of this during my late nights and morning
been mulling over
research.
it for weeks.
I was. Naturally thought of this. And we don't know if Puri would believe us. Suddenly all the students disappearing where we told them to... It's less chance of deniability.
I will say on your roll as well, you do think, certainly they were attracted to magic being cast. You do think they would be, all of your intelligence check, apart from Tui, fortunately, think, yep, it's worth experimenting on, and you think there's, it's not just a flat, this will summon any spell will summon every zombie in the world, but you think that idea has legs. That is sound as well.
That they're not after the magical items, that they can only sense magic within a certain area, radius.
You think they can sense that?
What do you mean to have legs? What section has legs?
You think the idea of having magic cast in a certain place will draw them there, and that could work.
Experiments.
Yeah, it needs experimentation. The last thing I will say on it is you do have a book about undead as well.
Yeah.
Only if we could get more information about this without risking our lives.
If only we had any information about anything. Let's go.
Okay, where are you headed?
Want me to read the book?
I'm not going to make you do shit. I'm not going to make you do shit. I'm
read
not
the
going to tell
book
you about my
about.
characters.
Read the bit, specifically the bit about the students.
I will find that specific part of the book that has done.
Make an investigation check.
I would like to help.
Derek's going to give you a help action so you can have a D6 as well.
Yeah, Derek, go.
Isn't it like hindering? Like you've got two people just looking over your shoulder. You're just like, get out!
She doesn't need the help. She has like a +11 if I remember.
I can check if you want.
I think once he's doing is like keeping notes of pages that you might want to come back to or reference to, and that's how they're helping.
So
you have a +12 to your investigation.
Oh, okay. This is why. So I rolled a 19.
Okay.
Holy fuck!
Add a D6 as well, because we're 31 currently, so why not see how far this baby can go.
Everyone guidance.
+3, so 34.
Anyone have guidance? Any pluses? Diana, give her bardic inspiration!
No!
You can see that Scipio Rex was a meticulous, if slightly twisted individual.
The fucking necromancer.
Kept a litigious thing here. There is a fucking glossary in this thing. There is a index. There is contents. Nobody else seems to have bothered with this as much as he did to make sure that he could categorize the exact wording of the book. Alterations.
I don't know this. I don't know this guy, but I greatly admire him.
So you're noticing, like, going to contents and you're seeing alteration by environment, alteration by ambient effects. So, okay, magic all over here, the storm. You're going to that area, you're sort of flipping through, not quite finding it perfectly, but then you're sort of going, okay, ambient magic. You cross-reference. You go to pages back and forth. You go very quickly. The two of them helping you literally just go like, okay, these are the page numbers. So you don't even have to go back to the contents. You have the glossary with them. Like, Garrett literally has a page open to the glossary so he can quickly define magical terms. On a 34, you flip to a page and you see just like a bestiary, a picture of standing upright, but with the same picture of the sort of neck open, sort of the flats that open, and the sort of funnel sort of picture there. Do we have it for the stream?
I will find it.
Yeah,
Is that
cool.
allowed?
Content warning on it, I think, as well. A very...
When I saw it, I was like, oh, I wish I wasn't eating like a fucking red velvet cake right now.
Well, we put...
Like, this shit's on the rapid
enemies.
Rider? That
It's
can't
definitely
be allowed.
very hard. Well,
Alright. Cool, ready?
yeah.
So fun.
This thing.
That thing. You see that Scipio refers to this as a usually starts as some form of simple zombie, exposed over long periods of time to magic, with no other source of sustaining themselves. Usually with some elements of tragedy in their passing. You see,
he'd be dead, so.
they define this thing as a Huda drudge, with various translations or alterations on the name, essentially meaning not a magic slave so much as a slave to magic, as in they yearn for magic and are enraptured and unable to part themselves from it, and dependent on it.
That's kind of
Dependent is probably the best word.
poetic and sad.
You see they reference that they are able to draw magic in through this hole in the neck. The head has become vestigial at this point. They cannot see beyond a... They have blind sight, but they cannot otherwise see beyond a distance of 60 feet. They are attracted over long distances to magic, but specifically the casting or expending of spell slots, because that is the most potent form that they can feed on. But they have advantage on perception checks, essentially, against anybody wearing a magical item. It helps them perceive things. And there's speculations and experimentations to be done of whether wearing a magic item actually extends that blind sight, or because all people who've been in the position to research them had that 60 foot, but that is the longer limit already given by the fact that if you're wearing magic, they can see 60 foot, or they can see you from 60 foot away, or blindsight you from 60 foot away. Perhaps that might be even shorter distance if you have no magic accoutrement on your person. You can see that there's room to further experiment in there. But on a 34 investigation, these things are the Huda drudge. You would also, on 34, you would also see that the nature of magic they have most recently been consuming can alter some of their abilities in undeath. Specific notes are given to those who have recently taken in conjuration spells and their ability to teleport short distances.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I was wishing it was more specific than that. I was like, I want to go to the pub now, see what's happening over there. What buildings they have over there? They get summon beer.
A sonic song scream.
Yeah. Does it mention anywhere where it says the distance where they can see magic? Like when a spell is expended, does it see how far it can sense it?
It's referred to as great distances in the book, and I think I've said in there, if not 34 will be enough to know. The stronger the spell, so the higher spell slot level, the wider range it seems to draw them to. You think if you walked outside and cast a 9th level spell, this whole school might come rushing towards you.
I'm going to get all that information because I heard hard on my internet right now.
Yeah.
So good luck, guys.
Oh,
Yep.
Looks like
pretty
my
scary,
hypothesis was
basically.
correct. My hypothesis was correct then. The actual casting of magic is what draws. Specific.
Yeah. Okay.
Who can do that amongst this group?
Casting of magic?
Yes. I know you can.
Zeke will raise their hand. Garrick will raise their hand.
I'll nudge Dewey.
Yeah, I think so.
Your bird's nodding.
Everyone but me.
Ben, I assume you are the most experienced caster and you have the highest slots, right? The first slots, yes.
I guess.
What if we amplify a spell?
That would draw amplifying spells. Sorry, I'm not aware of such terms. Is that
it's the
what
thing
we
we
did on the boat?
Yeah.
We did
Yeah. We take a normal spell and amplify it to a higher level, essentially.
Because if we amplify the spell enough and draw them far enough away from the school, at least a majority of them, we should be able to cast smaller level spells within the school without attracting anyone, or at least the people we dragged away. Does that make sense?
Kinda.
Yeah, like how are you gonna?
Well, we would have to go into an area where we could easily escape them, or at least somewhat escape them.
I could make a tower that's like right over there.
Yes, but
Big
we
tower.
might need to return here. That's the problem. We don't want to return here unless quite a lot.
But surely
For
they're
lack of a
like,
better word.
as soon as we start like casting magic again, they're gonna be drawn.
Well, not if they're
Surely
not.
they're drawn
If
to.
yes, but if they're too far away, they won't be able to sense it.
How do we get? I mean, they walk like us.
Yeah, they'll probably wander about. But they won't come in any direction with any sort of purpose. Not unless a spell is cast and they can sense it. But if we use a high level spell to cast to bring them in, or to bring them away, say the sports grounds, like that looks like a good area to keep them all. We
You
could
wanna
drag
like
them all.
lock them in?
We could drag them all there, lock them in, and if we could, and we could use smaller level spells, or depending on the radius, higher level. We don't know. And then maybe they won't sense us.
So, okay.
Especially without the ability to defend ourselves properly. This might be our only solution. Because I don't know about you, but I can't. Can they even be knocked unconscious? These undead?
I think no. If you need to be alive for that. It's already dead. It's
So how would we even stop them if we did get an encounter? We would have to like tie them up.
oh, there's too many of them for us to try that.
But if there were few, and some of them were locked away into the sports grounds, maybe.
We can try.
That would be my best guess. But you wanted to see the learning tower.
Yeah. There's a lot of them in there.
Maybe we could draw some of them out. Because since the tower is so heavily damaged, maybe they can easily find their way out of there. I don't know how intelligent they are. Can they function doors?
Well,
Hard
that's
to
the
say.
thing. Like, if we lock them in somewhere, then that's not gonna work. Then is it?
It's only one way to try.
I'm gonna like peek outside the door of the library. I want to see what's outside.
15 of them.
Just in a line.
5.
Right.
So many.
Just like
It's like
Shaun of the
Shaun
Dead
of the
style.
Dead,
Yeah, like,
yeah.
yeah. Like
I mean, you can see a
that.
few.
We're never leaving. Yeah.
Yeah, make a perception check, actually.
Is it daylight?
There's not really daylight here, the eternal roiling storm overhead, but enough that I'm going to give you advantage.
So there's no sunlight here? Oh my god, that's really sad. Oh cool, I got... Oh, that's not... What's a 7? That's not very good. 12.
Well, you can definitely see some around in the middle distance. You sort of step sort of around to look a bit, and you see as one comes nearer, and then just seems to sort of almost like they can't really wince because again the head is like fully vestigial, but they sort of like buckle their shoulders a little bit in the direction of the library and just start moving a bit further away from it.
So it goes away?
They are, you know that they are. There are certain, because this is religious holy ground still. That's why the undead haven't followed you in here.
What were we trying to check again? What was
I think you're going to see if there were any like right outside to stop you even getting outside.
Right.
Certainly not. You could start stealthing past.
We were talking about like whether they were like intelligent.
Oh, that as well.
Enough.
Can they use
Thank you.
doors?
If they can open doors, solve small problems if they were motivated enough to get to the source.
What can't they?
Like, if there was a hole in front of them, and someone cast magic in front of that hole, would they go around and attack the magic user, or would they go straight for the magic user falling down the hole?
Is there a hole
So-
anywhere?
Not really.
Cliffs.
It's the cliffs.
Can't they bamf in and out of places? At least wasn't that
Some
described
of them.
last time?
Some of
Thinking
them.
it.
Mm.
Wait, did some of them bamf in? I thought they were just.
You were made aware from a book that depending on the kind of magic they've most recently consumed, it alters some of their properties of the Huda Such the example given was if a conjuration spell was what was consumed, or conjuration-based magic, then they seem to develop the ability to teleport short distances.
How does it consume them?
It looks like it is essentially this, sort of pulls from a certain distance away. Based on the writing, it looks like it happens with the casting of a spell that at a certain distance. It doesn't look like it can actively draw without the spellcaster trying to cast a spell. But you see that they still do like attack and eat flesh. They're not just going to leave you if you don't cast any spells in the hope that you feed them.
In the book, in the area text is found, does it specify? Does it go after the spell that's cast, or does it go after the specific caster of the spell? Like, so if I cast magic missiles, does it go where the magic missile was flying towards, or would it go towards the person who casted it?
I
An
guess.
interesting question.
Are we
it
gonna
does
find
not
out,
seem
or
to.
can I do an experiment?
You can do an experiment.
Hey, do you ask that like out loud?
I asked tax. Let's say I asked taxes
Can I hear
because
that?
she was the one I was looking to.
Yeah, if you're
I'm
sort
not
you're on the sort of
quiet,
you're sort of in this antechamber as you're sort of like discussing it in this area.
Yeah,
Go
just
for it.
sort of like look out the window, look out the door, and be like, "Do you want to test it?"
They seem to be opposed to this area. Yes, let's test it.
Okay. I'm gonna go outside.
I will accompany you.
Well, we need a. Okay, but you've got a magical item, so you need to.
Do you not have a magic? Okay.
Stay away from me
You-
a second, and then.
Don't you have a magical item as well?
No.
Your sword is magical.
You're wearing a sword and magic armor.
Those things.
Oh.
Yes, I do.
Your spellbook is literally an active spell.
Yes, I do. I'm not actually strong enough to wear this chainmail. Okay.
The chainmail allows you to wear it.
I know. I'm not actually strong enough to wear chain. Okay.
Oh, I see.
Or carry this sword, but there you go. But I do have a book and I really like it. Okay. I'm gonna take like a pebble. I'm gonna do the whole light thing. I'm gonna cast. So how far away is that other dude right now?
Maybe about 100 foot away from the door.
Okay.
Cast light on a pebble. You watch as slowly its head turns towards you and begins coming closer again and seems to be repelled again, like it's just trying to walk away.
Oh, it's like it's trying to walk away, but it can't.
Like it came towards you and then wanted to get closer, but starts trying to walk away from and succeeds in walking away from the temple.
Cool. I'm gonna
Slash
go a
library.
little bit further out.
Okay.
To the what I think is maybe the border of the ward.
Of that effect. Okay.
Yeah. It's probably quite far, probably like 100 foot, right? Probably quite far.
At the door. I'm at the doorway. Well, I'm assuming most of us are at the doorway.
Not quite 100
Yeah.
foot. It's like maybe
Just like that.
like maybe 40 foot from the door.
Like Scooby Doo.
Like 50 foot, they started turning away. So you're like 40 foot. It's like 10 foot between you. Like 10 foot away from here is where they were like, nah, I give up. I'm not getting any closer to that thing.
Okay, cool. Then I will go to the edge of that.
Okay, fully to the edge. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm gonna throw the light, the pebble.
Okay. You throw the light pebble. You see no movement. But as it lands with a thud, you see some of them begin to look around. Hearing still seems to be a thing. But some of them come over to investigate the area. You see as they get closer, then they seem to be paying more attention to the pebble as they are closer to it. So they can detect the magic when they are closer. But you make an Arcana check based on that, as you're doing magical research in the field.
Magical research.
Magical research.
Oh no, that's not good. 9. I rolled a 2.
9. Difficult to say if they were. Was it just the sound and they went to investigate it? Difficult to say exactly what triggered stuff there. You might have to go again.
More experiments.
Okay.
More. Okay, Mage Hand doesn't do any noise. I'm gonna Mage Hand and go and fetch the pebble.
That's the perfect spell to experiment with this. The thing I wanted to know.
Cast Mage Hand to create a magical hand. I believe you create it at the point.
Yeah.
You watch as, at this point, because they've been attracted to noise, 4
Oh.
heads or so snap directly towards you, not the hand.
Yeah, damn it. Okay.
And they get closer and closer, and they begin to turn back, but you're right on the border of where they can reach, and they are getting closer. What do you do?
I'm gonna stand back a bit.
You stand back. You see that they can. You are now well within 60 feet of them, and they are now circling this sort of border where they can detect you, but they don't want to get closer to you, like sharks.
The way it's
Well, it's more like lions prowling around a cage, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay, so it takes 1 action to cast, but then it lasts a minute. So I'm not casting any more spells, but the Mage Hand is still waving.
Mage Hand is still there.
Yeah.
Pointing towards them and like.
Seems like they could detect the ongoing magical effect, but the thing that would sent out a come over here was the casting spell.
Okay.
I see.
And how many of them?
Currently, there's about 4 in front of you that are pacing like hungry lions.
Yeah. I'm gonna wave the Mage Hand in front of one of them.
You watch as they definitely pay attention towards it. But you are within 60 feet of them now, and you are glowing magically. As the relative magical potency of a Mage Hand compared to Elven Chain, a 9th level spell cast on your book, and which you don't know, but a powerful spell cast on your book, and your sword radiating with draconic magic. Yeah, they are pacing back and forth.
I'm gonna look back at the guys who are just like this, Scooby doing it, and be like,
I confirmed my suspicions. Sadly, I don't think I can use that though.
what else? What else could I do? We need some kind of yeah. Are they intelligent enough to go round a hole?
Around a hole or avoid some immediate danger or some kind of obstacle. Instead of Dewey.
Yeah.
I would not say that. Yeah, Mr. Fatfoot, would you be able to, let's say, light a campfire sneakily off in the distance. Not too far away that you would be caught out and not.
It would end up having to be relatively close by. I think I'm gonna say let's have a
As
look.
long as it's outside of their willingness to come within the
Like
church's parameters.
non-magical.
Like non-magically, I assume.
Oh!
You've been reading a book.
Yeah. Oh yes.
About
oh yeah.
company.
Sorry,
I assume
I
you've
thought we were still
learned how
talking
to-
about effects and things like that.
Well, my thing would be if Diana would cast a magic spell, cast near this flaming fire.
Yeah.
Would they walk into it to get to the spell? Would they walk around it to try and get to the spellcaster? Would they try and put out the fire to try to attack the spellcaster? So such and so forth.
We have anything in our inventories? Like a boom boom bomb.
I've got
I'm
like
joking.
10.
Because they're still here. They're still fucking
We don't-
run to the fucking explosion of the boom boom bomb.
Have that.
I have a
I got tinderbox.
I too also have Tinderbox. I would say I needed it to go on an adventure, but I don't.
So you want me to go out there and make a little campfire? Yeah.
Yes. One that could be easily perceived as dangerous to walk in. So not like a
Because-
small one that can be easily stamped out, maybe like a slightly larger one.
So, as
Wait.
an
I was gonna say, aren't they blind?
To a certain distance.
yeah, so
I
the
mean,
idea would be, so say like this is the edge, and I'm like stood
Past.
there at the moment, aren't I? And
Yeah.
they're like here, like trying to get in. So if you make a fire here, I can move round, and we'll see if they actually walk in the fire.
Okay. I guess I gotta not be seen by any others, but yeah, I could presumably try and do that.
I mean, people can still see you, but we cannot hear you
I need
out in the open.
I need wood though, like and
Resist the temptation to look inside the library with thousands upon thousands of books.
Nope.
all
Yeah.
flammable.
I have some torches you could use as a quick fire. They have wooden stuffs on them.
Yeah.
Burns for an hour.
Yeah,
bench
but
outside.
would
Is there a Ben?
that work? Would that
If you use
work?
enough of them, I assume you can launch fire with it.
I guess so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would I know if it's possible to do that? Try and set them together.
You could take torches and essentially use wooden torches as timber. You don't know how long it will burn for. They're like sticks this big, but you could make a small bonfire with 10 of them. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll set about doing that. How many can I see prowling around out there? Was it
There's
just
4
one?
aggressively prowling in front of Diana right now.
Yeah.
There's maybe a few more in the distance, just for your passive perception. You can see that aren't currently coming over. Everything seems to have been attracted within a certain area.
Okay. All right. Knowing that there's this defensive barrier, then I will try and sneak off, sort of, to the left.
Yeah, you're trying to judge distance. It's not easy thing to do, but make a stealth check.
Big money, no whammies. That's a lot. So that's
But also, Diana testing the Mage Hand confirms if you cast Pass Without Trace in the tower, going outside, then you'd still get the benefit of Path Trace without attracting. Because that's still an ongoing effect, not casted.
Yeah.
Like, the initial casting of it would attract some, maybe, but it wouldn't be ongoing, but they would know our location.
Okay.
The casting seems to send out this dinner bell. The
Yes.
active ongoing effect, like
Okay.
any active ongoing effect, like your magical items, seems to make you more easily detectable at a wider distance with still of 60 foot, if that makes sense.
Can I retcon that I cast Pass Without a Trace then? Before I leave the area, then yes, I'll do that.
As you cast Pass Without a Trace, you see the ones that were circling around Diana immediately just head snap towards you, rush over to where you were.
The experiment has failed.
And you see leaping off of various sort of rocks and over them, you see them maybe like 20 in front of you before you can think what to do. And there's maybe a few more that are sort of emerging over the side. This is a lot of them, and they are looking at you as you know that you'd have to like step back out of their detectable range, and then they wouldn't be able to see you anymore, wouldn't be able to detect you anymore, and then you skirt around and go to the side.
Yeah, that was going to be the next experiment.
But as in, like, go a different direction then.
Yeah. Currently, they're like, there's a point there, they got close, that's where it came from, but I can't get any closer to it. If you get far enough away beyond their 60 foot, they're like, where did it go? And they're just going to stay in this area, hopeful, and might start circling around. As long as you're quick about it, you can come around the side, and they haven't been able to detect you.
Yeah, I will try and...
I thought that wasn't the point to do magic. But... Yeah, are the four that was in front of me, are they still interested?
Not in you anymore.
That's
They're aware you're there, and definitely some start looking towards you. Amongst the crowd that now is probably 30 strong. But a higher level spell certainly seemed to get more of them here. There's still some trickling in.
And Pass Without Trace is a first level spell?
Second level spell.
Second level, and they were coming from like 100 feet, 300 feet.
More than 100, yeah, way more than 100 feet.
There's 100 foot with just a cantrip.
That you could see. It's not easy to measure these things by eye.
Yeah. Speaking of by eye, I have a question. So since Dewey... I have one eye? By eye, not eyes! So since Dewey cast a significantly stronger spell compared to a cantrip, did the ones trying to get to Diana get any closer? So say they were...
Did they try and push through that border of...
Exactly.
They seem unable to push through that border. They want to. Oh, they want to. They are now throwing themselves at this thing, and just like it's almost like they're being physically rebuffed, but not quite. They're sort of like throwing themselves towards it and then having to stumble back. They are getting into a frenzy a little bit. There's blood in the water, and they are sharks.
Should I stop? Should I stop what I'm doing?
You're the thing now, so I've got to be the sneaky one that does the thing.
Well, they can still see you, but as long as Dewey walks back 60 feet or a bit over 60 feet, they would stop being able to sense him, and you'd still be within the hallowed protection, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you skirt around because they no longer know where you are. They just know the last place you were. They would start looking again.
Exactly. Right now they're trying to find Dewey and based on his magical item. But you could cast a cantrip right now, Diana, and attract these 30, I count? 20 students?
There's at least 30. There's more trickling in.
So if you cast that now, they will be focused on you again.
So if I go like right to the edge of the thing again, like off to the side...
You're risking a lot.
If you go like that, you can smell them at this point there. It does not smell good. You can see them clambering over each other. As the ones at the back forget about the hallow, and the ones at the front are like pushing themselves back away. It's like this roiling tide of them.
It's terrifying. DayZ vibes.
So,
yeah,
not trying to make Okay, I will pick up another pebble and I won't cast anything. I'm just gonna throw it off to the side or behind them or whatever.
How far are you trying to throw it?
Like as far as my feebleness will allow.
I'd say it's a dagger that's about 60 feet.
I'm gonna get closer to them though. So
Throw
it'll
it
be
right in her
like
mouth.
within 20 foot of them.
Okay. You watch as nobody pays attention as you throw it. As it lands, some heads turn around towards the back, but they don't seem to pay too much attention to it with no magical effect on it and seem to pay attention back to you. So definitely can hear it, but don't seem interested in pursuing it if there's not any magic about it.
Okay. And what about me? If I just sort of walk away, like around the
Yeah, as
barrier
you like sort of
rather-
walk the semicircle, walk the perimeter,
Yeah.
they are now. If Dewey's not there anymore, they are all attention on you.
Right.
Even if Dewey is there, there's split attention because you both have powerful magical items on you. The dinner bell was rung. Your dinner, the pair of you, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay.
They're interested in both of you here, but a lot of them went directly towards Dewey because that's where the call came out from.
Okay.
When I I go sort of back in towards this protective circle, to go out the other side, to go out the other edge. I'm gonna take the way right off my shoulder and just put it and just chuck it towards one of the other guys.
Okay.
And then try and stealth my way out.
You still have pass without a trace on you?
Yes.
Good to know. Okay. Make a stealth check, please.
That is 17.
17. Okay. They are definitely actively perceiving.
I'm going to say I kept one.
Wait,
they
sorry, 27 because I've got
pass without a trace.
pass out the trace on.
You shadows and darkness surround you. There's plenty of them in this space. As you work your way around, you can see the horde now that's forming in front of Diana, who is stood maybe like right at the edge, so maybe like less than 5 feet. These things are like almost beginning to reach out. You can see like long claws there, but are not willing to push themselves into this space, or are just flat not able to. As you sort of quiet duck around, see one from a distance as it goes to join the rest, perhaps even drawn by the noise that they are making now more than just the fact that the call went out, because there is a noise of just sharp writhing and sort of this whistling warble, as I mentioned, almost like cricket-like warble. In fact, make a perception check for me as well.
26.
26. You hear this like whistling warble rise from them. You can also hear like separate cricket noises. On the 26, you can see there is a couple of these crickets in the grass in front of you. It's like very near dead grass, arid grass. Locusts would be the better word. They don't look quite right. They don't look quite natural. And they are making this sort of much more higher pitch, like traditional cricket locusty noise. And some of them just slowly begin floating towards you, but have not given you away, if that makes sense, as you have worked yourself to a position where you could light a fire.
Okay. All right, I will try.
Outside the barrier.
Yeah.
Outside of the barrier now.
I will set up. I'll set up my little thing for a bonfire, and try and as quietly as I can, try and light it.
Okay.
Got a tinder box, so
you light a fire. It begins to crackle and hiss as you make a survival check for me, please. Lighting a bonfire under duress.
And if any of them are sort of interested in the noise that he might be making, then I'll make a little bit of noise.
You just cast a
Okay.
cantrip.
Yeah.
21 for the survival check.
21. Able to quickly get a fire going without too much noise. Just a couple of hits of the flint and tinder. You wait until you're sure that there's none like within 100 foot of you at this point, and you all see as a soft orange glow starts about 100 foot from the safety line, if that makes sense.
Very good.
Nothing seems to be paying obvious attention to it. The crickets sort of float gently away from the smoke. Locusts.
Oh,
I should be
were
specific,
they
are
still
locusts.
were they still coming towards me?
They were coming towards you.
They didn't do
General.
anything though. They were just harmless.
Not that you could tell. They were just.
Obviously.
Something harmless about this place.
Cool. Cool. I will walk within the perimeter towards
You get a safety line.
thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Do they walk in the fire or do they avoid it?
And then come out if they are gonna.
As you sort of move them around, okay, I see now clearly. So you're within about that sort of space. Light the fire. You come back in. You walk them around. As they're walking around, as you see them get into about, it's difficult to judge exactly. Definitely less than 60 feet. As some of them sort of like turn their heads towards the fire rather than paying huge attention to you. You see that they go around it. They do not immediately just walk straight into the fire. But you do not think they perceived it at 60 foot away. It was definitely shorter than that. That seems to be, if you have a magical effect on you or you're holding something magical, 60 foot.
Okay.
You are field testing. Scipio would be so proud. Another entry from a book.
Diana, could you try and cast a cantrip, see if you can entice them into the fire?
Yeah. I will. So say they like once I can get them. Oh God.
Cast summon cat.
Summon the cat instead.
You
Summon
summoned
Steed,
Oh.
but it
you
was
summoned
too
it.
small.
Diana's gone. She's been pulled out by the zombie horde.
Ugh. Absolutely
Oh,
not
no.
bothered
Yeah.
looking at. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Is there a way that I can maybe get them to like, they were like scrambling over each other to get at thing. I want them to do that like on the fire.
Yeah. You do that. You cast a cantrip. They sort of, their heads will turn again. The sort of, it's becoming deafening at this distance. They come closer. You see as they get closer, one of them sort of like puts a foot in the fire by accident and like pulls back.
Does it
And
hurt?
it definitely looks like it hurt them. They sort of kick at it until the fire. A few of them like sort of kick at it until the fire is like scattered and so it's just like embers on the ground.
Are they doing that intentionally?
Intentionally
It looks like
scattering
it looks intentional. Like one they in the like sort of immediate. It would be bloodlust if it went. It's magic lust essentially is driving towards you.
Yeah.
In that initial call, they seemed to be like go. Oh, let's get it off, and then we just put it out kind of thing. Then I'll just once again arriving here. You're a fresh source of magic, and Matt's not been around here for a little while.
But they're not mindless zombies. They
Do not seem completely
kind of-
mindless.
They can recognize danger and solve a problem that can stop the danger from being a thing. Interesting.
they're
I'm gonna-
predators.
Can I try and like hit?
I'm gonna go out, Sen.
Mm-hmm.
Not outside the safety circle,
Okay.
but like outside the tower itself. And I'm gonna go to the not opposite end of Diana, like far enough distance so I can tell that some of them are after Diana, and then someone would be after me. I'm gonna light a crossbow tip on fire. Not on fire, electrify a crossbow tip.
With the magical effect being summoned, you watch as heads snap towards you, and some of them begin moving towards you. It doesn't look as intense as what was happening before with the cantrips.
I'm gonna summon Haddock, my brother.
Similar, a magical effect that is not the casting of a spell seems to do something. Actually, probably be on par with a cantrip in terms of how much they are drawn towards it. I'm going to make an intelligence check.
I would also like to test something.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. I want to get my non-magical rapier,
Okay.
and I want to I want still within the ward, right? I want to poke one so that it would for example, if you were to do this to an
Don't
actual
kill
student,
it.
no, if you were to do this to an actual student, basically what I want without touching them is to have a bust up on school grounds. You know what I mean? So I wanna, I wanna see if I'm gonna
As
be
I
punished.
see that, Diane, don't. We told any fighting on grounds would be told to the staff member, and if the staff member
Fuck
is
yeah.
indeed comparable to a lich, then it would have intelligence and know we're here.
That's true. I'm gonna have to do that. I
You-
forgot
you-
what. I forgot what.
You widen.
I forgot what would happen. Again, notes. It's been 3 weeks for me.
Give an old man a heart attack.
I mean, Diana would know that, so my bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just need a reminder.
You recall as you resheath your sword in the tongs. Oh, yeah.
Oops.
That was fully yesterday.
It was fully yes.
It was yesterday.
I'm gonna send Haddock 30 feet in the air, and
Okay.
he's gonna start walking outside of the barrier.
Can you do that? You float?
He can. He can move in any direction. Up is a direction.
Okay. He walks across the
He can only
barrier.
be 30 feet away from me, so I'm really close to the barrier.
Views watchers, some of them are definitely would be looking up 30 foot into the air. Again, certainly seem to be able to perceive ongoing magical effects, but not. And you see some of them sort of clamber over, sort of try and leap to try and get up there, but not. You see a lot of them just begin making this motion as well, just the head fully snapping back, neck opening, just trying to absorb some of what's going on there, but not able to get close enough, not 30 foot in the air.
But they don't look to be collaborating, to be trying to make a human tower or anything like that.
You get the sense that they're not great with teamwork. They need some team
They
building.
wanna
No,
get-
no hive mind energy here. Okay,
No
got it.
hive mind
No,
energy.
they want to be the first one to get there, surely. That's why they're clambering over each other. And
Haddock is gonna try and round up as many as he can, and he's gonna run 30 feet in a direction, and then just
You know in kids' games where there's a safe zone and the really fucking annoying kids just stand all around the safe zone and go yeah, you're safe in that safe zone, but you can't leave and I'm faster than you. This is the energy you're getting of them. They're all gotta come out sometime, and they are getting less patient about it. I'm gonna roll another check for them.
So they didn't go after Haddock going in that direction.
They did not follow. Some of them have split off and follow on to that, but certainly only one or two. Most of them seem more interested in the, again, extremely powerful magical artifacts that are in front of them. We just can't quite get to yet.
I'm gonna hold my cane up and look it around. Are they tracking it?
Don't seem to be tracking your cane while it's sheathed.
Okay. Good to know.
Still wearing a robe.
Oh yeah. Just seeing the cane. The cane. I think we're gonna learn all we're gonna learn now.
Cool. There's probably around 40 at this point, just to track by the noise, if nothing else.
extremely terrifying image in front of me here.
As we conclude, definitely terrifying. Lots learned. Let's take a quick break. We may not come back for long afterwards because it's already 11 o'clock.
It's true. Oh shit.
Yeah, we'll just do 5 minutes, yeah? Then we can
5-minute break and then come back and see if we use any of the 7 maps I spent today making.
I tried really hard. I tried really hard to be like, let's just fucking go, and then everyone wants to do
That's fair enough. It's fair enough. I'm glad you're having fun. That's
experiments.
We're in school. Let me play.
We'll see you all in a bit.
See you in a bit.
Bye.
We will stand together stronger than we've ever done. And like the sun, the time has come.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Rapid Riders, as our party are standing outside the library temple to Aurora, as they have experimented on the transformed students, now Hudadraj, these undead magic seekers that plague the school. They have learned what they can for the time being, and are making plans of where to head next and what is their next course of action. And I'll hand it back to you guys.
Dagwin, how many times can you pop out your wings in a day?
God, I haven't really pushed myself to my limit. Why?
Just wondering how many people you can carry. And how many rounds, how many turns back you'll take.
Generally, when I do it, it lasts only for a minute. I can fly about as fast as I can walk. I wouldn't get us super far, but maybe into a space beyond these ones now.
Once
I've done it, I can't do it again for a long rest. Sorry, that would be something that I would know. I thought it was proficiency related. It's just once per long rest.
Well, so long as we go in the next half hour or so, my skills are up. We should be able to avoid them easier.
How about, as well, unpopular opinion suggestion, how about we leave our magical items in the library?
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't detect my magical sword, so I'm okay with that, leaving the cloak behind.
Okay.
But,
Tactics will slowly start taking all the magical stuff off.
do you have any backup on young Feather?
Backup what? Sorry?
Weapons. Do you have any backup weapons?
Just like lightning, like two really short swords are just chink.
No range weapon.
No.
Wait, you don't have a bow?
I do. It's
this
one.
Says that you can use this better than me, and he gives you the short bow he picked up. He's like, back to daggers again.
I
really thought I wouldn't be.
I'm good.
No, you got it. All right, fine. You know,
I'm out of practice, but yeah,
we'll share it.
If I need one, if I
Pretty
need
sure
it, hopefully.
Pretty sure Dagwood has a long bow.
But ideally,
would you
we
prefer
don't do
a long
anything
bow?
because, yeah.
Dagwood, would you mind sharing your longbow instead of short bow?
Winslow goes over to Dewey's. I've seen what you can do with one of these. I would be honored if you would use it. Try not to break it. It has sentimental value.
Of course. Yeah, of course. I'll take good care of it. Thank you.
I'm gonna spend a while. I'm gonna spend a while taking my armor off.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, of course.
And putting my leather armor back on.
It's
Fucking
fine.
dusty.
I'm not
Leather
not
armor.
gonna use it. I'm not gonna use it, so that's fine. All right.
Zeke looks at your.
Oh no! Yes.
They plant the Guardian's Shard, their spear, into the ground. Then they reach towards their necklace.
He's just gonna have to stay here then.
They're not super happy about that.
You can test it. See what happens if you go out there.
Oh, that was
He stands close, and they do pay attention to Zeke.
So you can stay here and guard our stuff.
Can
you stand within 60
do.
feet? Stand within 60 feet. Can they still track you then?
At 60 feet, they're able to track because they have a magic item.
Okay, still.
It's only
I
for
don't
a bit.
have a. Yeah. I guess if they can't see, I was gonna say make bright colors or some shit. I don't know, but I don't know how you do that without magic, and then that would summon them to you anyway. So, if you were in trouble and you needed me to just fuck it, run after you.
What, so you're talking about staying here, or you're talking about leaving?
I want to come with you guys, but I don't think I can. I would need to convince them. Hold on, and he sort of takes a step back. I'm pretty fast and I'm pretty small. Give me some time. I'm going to see if I can convince them, and I will find a way to catch up with you. But I need to know where you're going in order to do that.
Are we going to try and capture as many as we can, or are we going to the learning?
Halls of learning.
Yeah,
Halls of learning.
I get the idea of trying to lure them to one place, but unless we've never been there before, and unless we know how to get out of there, we could trap ourselves.
You can see the big imposing 8-pointed star-shaped tower, but from your vantage point in the library, you can just see on the right-hand side of it these crackles of, not even crackles, more like miasma of multicolored magic in the crater where the evocation and the rest of it used to be. The closest ones to you, the closest wings that Diana would know, would be the divination wing, the transmutation wing. They're going to be like the first ones that you can get straight to, but you know that you can get to another wing from another, inside the building. Which one are you headed to first? Divination.
I mean, it's open to talking about it. Divination.
No,
It's the closest one. It is a priority.
The quicker we go, the more we can take the advantage of my skills.
Okay.
My magical skills.
I assume that my mother has some kind of office in that part.
There will be offices within. You've probably been in your mother's office.
That's a good question, though. Hold on, Diana. Are you leaving a spell book here?
Oh,
it is.
If you don't take it with you, you can't switch out spells during a long rest. That's all it will stop you from doing.
Yeah.
That's all it would stop.
It would stop you being able to talk to Book Mum. Yeah.
Oh, of course, that as well.
Zeke currently says, if I can't find a way to take off this chain, and I just need to fuck it and go through, I will try and bring what I can with me, because at that point, if it doesn't seem to matter if you've got some magic or loads of magic, they can still see you at 60 foot, right?
Right. As far as we know.
time out. I don't want to take Ben's chain away from them because that is pretty significant.
Yeah, that's his
Oh
decision
yeah, of
to
course,
make.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Yeah. All right. I'll have to leave it.
Do you
So
put it
spells
down
you
somewhere?
currently-
Do you hand it to Zeke? I wanna. This
Put it
is
on the
might be the
bookshelf.
first time you've been without it since Harley's Rest.
Put on the
This is
bookshelf.
quite significant, just so everybody knows. If something happens to this book, I'm no longer a wizard. That's. I don't have any spells.
Well, that's not true. You've got spells you've prepared.
Yeah, the spells that I prepared. Thanks, Dora. Thank you.
Garrick puts a hand carringly, not like small, but just like middle back here, and just pulls you close, and leaves you to yourself for this. This is your thing. Just knows that a little supportive hug, if only.
Can we summon Piri yet?
It'd be an hour.
You moved her from a certain area. You were outside of that area.
Are we?
Well, second tower.
You were inside the library. You're outside of the library now. When you banished him. It's also actually in real life been more than an hour, so yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Piri.
Hello.
Hello.
Appears in this purple greenish thing. You watch as immediately some of the hooded treasure are like looking towards them as an active magical effect.
Are you able to like protect a student's spellbook?
Able to keep a very close eye on it, and certainly any damage done to it would be a reportable offence as damaging of a student's property.
Is there anywhere very safe in the library where I can keep my spellbook?
Well, the library itself is very safe. Notice some of the students have been involved in a lot of property damage. She's like looking at all the other students. They don't seem to come inside the library, so I would be less worried about it inside the actual building of the library. Be protected from both the elements and the other students in there.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna go back into the library, and as far as anybody else sees, unless somebody's like following, I'm gonna go in and then I'm gonna come out without my spellbook.
Okay.
And Sam, I will tell you what that is.
Yeah. You go into the library, you hide your spellbook, you come back out. We then need some stealth checks as you are going past.
Will
you
I still...
are without the roll more yourselves, without the magical items on your person, you are rolling at advantage to get past them.
Yay.
Oh, come on, Howard.
Natural 20!
Nice.
Which is the second natural 20 I've had on these dice.
Nice.
Seb, your bonus is +6.
Oh, cool. So that'll be a 17. I rolled an 11.
26.
I rolled a 5 and a 6, so 9.
Garrick rolls a natural 1, but has a stealth
Advantage.
of 13 to make it 14.
Advantage.
Has advantage because he does not have any magical items on him. You are correct. Still pretty good. Then that's a 22. In 10 minutes, your pass without trace lasts, which has passed, I believe.
Oh no, it lasts an hour.
Lasts an hour. Oh, we are good then, I think. Just about as we are sort of going towards that. Dagwen is rolling at disadvantage because clinky armor. Doesn't do too badly.
It's just straight roll, though.
Straight roll. That's very true because they can't see her, so we'll take the first roll of those dice. Overall, it is a pass. The party, as the rest of them are distracted, will go about. You see Zeke behind you, sort of rubbing. In the way that they do, where it's like almost like rubbing the rim of a wine glass, where they make that harmonious hum. You see that they're sort of going between 3 on there. I think there's only 3 left on there, if I'm correct. They give you a wave, and then they start looking at the horde. Basically, they set off a cantrip, so they all come rushing over to that side to give you the best chance to get past them all while they're staying there. And you guys make your way to a Hall of Learning. The lure and the noise did not bring all of the Hoodadrosh from this place in, and you have to pick your way around and carefully. With that stealth check, you are able to make your way up familiar, long-forgotten staircases, Diana, to the halls of your mother's previous learning. I'm going to pick the divination map, which was the first one I made.
Can I just say, we couldn't have picked a better place to teleport to after Diana's.
You chose randomly, thing. And I was like, that is the one place where they can just hole up and rest. And
we took the fucking best goddamn place to go.
You ask a wizard where they want to go. Like,
this was books. That's all the reason we went there was for books. There was no thought behind that.
Zero thought.
Oh wow.
I mean, we didn't know they were
you
dead,
are
so.
right at the bottom of the map here. That is where you have appeared.
Let me
Oh, I can't see the map.
It's just a hallway currently.
Okay.
And currently are not
That's very pretty.
Being accosted, although in the distance along the length of this corridor, you can see there are 2 Hoodadrosh in the corridor in front of you, although the closest one that you can see is... How far are you, mate? You are 100 foot away, give or take.
All right.
Yeah, due to our experiments, their vision should only be like roughly 30 foot without any magic on them.
That many any magic items on you? They should
only
be
or spell effects.
Some seems to be that is the limit.
Cool, 30.
All right. I assume these are doors.
You can see doors immediately on the left, near immediately on the right, another one on the left, and another one right at the end. Diana, you know that one right at the end on the right is the door to your mother's office.
This one?
I'll draw a little red mark there.
Oh god, it's so far away.
Just past that first, between the 2 Hoodadrosh.
Okay. Okay.
And I feel with establishing the terrain, seeing what's in front of you, knowing that you have to find a way to get past them, that is where we will end for today. As we are in the halls of learning, we are in the divination wing.
I'll have to fucking write what I was gonna do next. Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh look, there's like skeletons and stuff.
There are still desiccated skeletons in here. It doesn't look like everything, not like everybody
Became undead.
became undead.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Sam.
You're very welcome. I'm sorry for all the tiredness that ensued throughout the entirety of it, and me rubbing my eyes.
Oh gosh, it's fine. Yeah, we are also very tired.
We're all exhausted. We've been doing so much prep for the convention. I didn't get home till like 3 in the morning.
Sorry.
Oh, it's alright. It's alright. It's for good cause.
Yeah. So yeah, a few announcements then. So yeah, tomorrow we are going to Birmingham to the UK Games Expo. So if you are around, please come and say hi. We wanna meet you. We wanna see you. And also we got some cool new stuff on the stand as well. We've gone kind of a bit nuts with that. Yeah. We also had these delivered this week.
Worked so hard on them. Like,
It looks so good.
our Kickstarter that we launched and funded in November last year. We finally got them put together, made, bound. It
look lush.
Yeah, it's exciting. We were terrified going to pick them up. Just that element of like, what if they look bad? But they look Goma Press in West Wales. Like really took care of the books and they look lush.
But yeah, these will be sent out to backers probably as soon as we get back. We tried to do it today and then we realized we haven't got any boxes.
Yeah, no boxes are like just everything we've got is like just a little bit too big or a little bit too wide for the boxes that everybody uses that are standard, which is annoying.
But yeah, those will be sent out. If you are going to be at the expo, then come and get it yourselves. Come and get it. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll have pretty much all the stuff with us, so we'll be able to do that, and then I think give you a little. What do we? Yeah, and there'll be all our other merch there, and including which one is going to be quickest? The beginner's bundle.
Yeah, I'll go quickly through the things, shall I? Yeah, so also at the stand we will have the beginner's bundle. We'll also have the gift giver level 5 one shot. We'll have the supplements as well. We'll also have the new dice. I've rolled 2 natural 20s for me tonight. That's probably... I've only rolled them about 6 times, so that's good odds. If that. We'll also have, to go with the beginner's bundles, we'll have, I don't have any on me, some dice, so you can have a proper little beginner's bundle. Yeah. So you can play straight away with those.
That's why you got the cool colors. Oh, that's such a smart idea. Fuck.
The question is, do we call it when because it'll be like a little bit of money off buying the beginner's bundle and the dice separately. Do we call it the beginner's bundle?
Yes.
The beginner's bundle. It is. Ink dice. Yeah, we have our t-shirts, we have badges, we have magnets, key rings.
A couple of supplements. We got the D100 table, Vicious Mockery, a generator penned by Seb, which is good for if you've got your bard or maybe even your warlock who is like continually firing out a vicious mockery, and you need just that little bit of an extra hand coming up with the horrible put down. Then you can D100 it. We also had a bandit table, which we are incorporating into a little prize roll for people come in.
You pick a name
sign up
on the sheet. You pick a name on the bandit generator, and then at the end of each day, we're gonna roll a D100, and if your bandit name comes up, you win a prize. You win £10 off on the stand. So yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah. First come, first serve. We're only 100 names. Roll right up. I can stop. I'm tired.
Buddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. I think I'm very excited to be at the expo.
So excited. So many TTRPG friends that we've met online.
I forgot.
Internet friends.
I forgot
Looking
to
forward
say
to
as
meeting.
well, Philip.
Hmm?
I forgot to say. Wow.
Excited
I know,
about
I'm really
the
sorry.
thing.
I'm tired. Yeah.
Too fucking bad, Phil.
I forgot to say, apart from these being at the expo and going to backers, you can pre-order them now on the website. The physical copies and the digital copies are on Drive-Thru, RPG, Etsy, and our website. But you can pre-order the physical copies. Ow, fuck, now. I just hit myself in the face. It's really sharp.
That's what you deserve for picking on Phil.
That was proper karma, that. Ow, I think I got a mark.
Oops.
But yes.
Okay, there we go. Ritual spellbook, good for 5th edition content and as a weapon.
Owie.
Simple weapon.
Have and brawl it all the way. Alright. Cool. Does anyone else have anything to say?
Phil, what wholesome bullshit were you saying?
Oh god, just looking forward to seeing like internet friends, because there's going to be so many TTRPG people there that we only really know through sharing and supporting Kickstarters and tweeting out and RTing stuff that they've been doing. We're actually going to see that they're actually real people
Did you say
at the
RTing?
weekend. That's
Crazy.
RTing. I don't know. It's the
Retweet.
Twitter.
Did you mean retweeting?
I did, but
Is that the
RTing is.
lingo?
I have no idea. I'm the social media person, but me doing the social media person is basically that meme of Steve Buscemi saying "Hello, fellow kids." Don't know what I'm doing. And then Bree puts out one tweet, and Alison Hargrave, who created Wingspan, retweets it because of the good voice that Bree was given to women in TTRPG.
Elizabeth.
So, Elizabeth? Oh, I said Alison. Oh.
Not that she's your hero or anything, it's fine.
Isn't Alison Hargrave from the Umbrella Academy? Or am I thinking wrong?
The other
You're
one.
not wrong.
The other
The
one.
creator
wrong.
Wingspan.
The other one. The creator of Wingspan.
She's my friend. She wished me happy birthday, so.
She did.
Huh?
I think
Hey.
she's my friend. No, she did. We played Wingspan on your birthday, didn't we? And then she was like, "Yay, happy birthday!"
Good.
But yeah,
Cool. Found someone. Have we got someone? Where are we going?
Yeah.
Where are we raiding?
So we haven't. Have we been there before? We might have been there before. I think we have. Nikki Orion.
Alright.
For the Crystal Empire, episode 12. We're going there.
All right.
I wonder if it's very hot in it. Probably very hot. Like all the reflecting, the greenhouse effect, you know what I mean? It's probably quite hot. On the
What are you on about?
Like, the heat. Is the Crystal everything's made out of crystal in the Crystal Empire, I assume? And so, therefore, if they're inside, it's like reflecting the sun, and it's very hot.
Am I losing my mind?
I think so.
Sorry. Just things to think about, I guess.
This is not meant to be a roast.
I've forgotten how to raid.
Flash raids.
I can't wait to bring this level of tiredness to the convention all week. People will be like, "What do you do?" I don't know.
No.
Write books of shit? I don't know.
Please.
Look at this.
Okay. Oh, Robin's in the chat.
Hi,
Please
Robin.
remind me I will
Hi,
bring
Rob.
you a book tomorrow.
Yeah, you've said it now.
Someone
said it now.
remind
He
me.
was straight away as soon as he saw me this morning. He was like, "Where's my book?
Where's
Phil?
my book?
Where's
I
my
was supposed to
book?"
come. I was
He
supposed to bring
he
one
had
out
a club and he
today.
was hitting it.
I was supposed to bring one over today, and I forgot. So, I mean, we'll have them all in the van anyway tomorrow, so it'll be fine. It'll be
Yeah.
fine. We're doing it. We're doing
People
it.
are
We're
literally
doing it.
killing each other on the streets with these books.
I know,
You
right?
heard it here first.
Okay, right, let's go. Let's go to bed.
Right.
Much better.
Much love.
Go to bed, everybody.
And by bed, I
This has
mean
been the
work.
And by bed, I mean raid. We're gonna go raid.
Oh
Been
shit.
the best
Okay.
and worst send off we've ever done.
Okay. Okay.
Bye, everybody. Much love. Come and see us at the expo if you're going.
Okay, bye.
The time has come, we will stand together stronger than we've ever done. And like the sun, we will rise at dawn and never stop until we've won. The time has come, we will rise like the sun and we'll never run. And we will fight, fight till we won. We will bite, we will smite all through the night. We'll never sleep, never rest. Put the faith to the test, the self-obsessed, self-confessed, self-professed, divinity, nobility. Your God is a fraud, so stop. We're done with the violence and the fury and the cruelty. I said we're done. We will win the war, we'll win the fight, the end's inside. All you see in us is barbarian, but all we want is to be equalitarian. And we will rock, we will never stop, standing on the top of the hilltop, and we will mock viciously, capriciously. We're tired of assault and the bigotry. You seem so full of wit and chivalry, but when we knock at your door you'll break. We're done. We have fire in our veins and we will break these chains. We're done. We won't be ripped apart. You will be burned and battle scarred. We're tired of assault and bigotry. We'll stand and mock you viciously. Through music we captivate. Through songs and words we propagate. We'll mock and smear and slander. Infiltration, propaganda. After years is finally resolution. It's time to start the revolution. We're done.